Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Diamond Division for our semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. My name is Nyarko, and I'm going to be your play-by-play for the evening, and I'm joined by the lovely Bonfire on Color. How you doing today?
I'm feeling great. It's hard not to be excited when we're getting this deep into the BOL Diamond League playoffs because at this point, I don't want to say the fat's been trimmed off, but only the best of the best are here. And we've got two top tier teams, Elysium Dawn, the number 2 seed, looking like one of the most dominant teams. And on the other side, it's a little bit of an underdog story. Mystic Cats just even being here is surprising. They were second worst in regular season standings, but they have not played like the second worst team in the league. They are playing with fire under their butt. I'm excited for this best of 5.
Yep, really love those scaling storylines, as you know, Bonfire, just trying to rise through from the ashes, push forward deeper on into the series. And now look at this, all the way in semifinals. They have a shot of making it to grands, as now we are entering into the draft itself. Elysium Dawn gonna hover and lock in that Talia on the B1.
Yeah, Talia is one of the solo queue stompers right now, but she has her place in Professional League of Legends as well because of the disruption that she's able to do. Sure, there's better AP mid laners and junglers, but she just displaces people. She's like a Poppy along with some sort of CC all in one, and then the kiting is fantastic as well. So I'm not surprised to see that. Very good roaming as well. A very strong B1.
Very, very happy to see it come out. One of my favorite champions, as you know. But another thing I'm not surprised to see, although I'm a little bit more sad to see, is the Maokai on the R2 or on the R1, excuse me, for Missy Cat's Black. And they are going to pair that with what is probably going to be a pretty safe AD carry. The Ezreal going to come out. Those arcane shifts can easily dodge out of the way of Talia's seismic shoves. I think that this is a good pairing. It's just, man, am I tired of seeing Maokai.
Yeah, Maokai is a very boring champion. He slows down the game, but it also allows Mr. Cats to play the way that they want to play. They're not going to get sped up. They're not going to be forced into fights they don't want to, because if anything ever happens, you drop a Maokai ult and everyone just scurries away. And so that is the strength of Maokai. Also, a great combination with the Ezreal. I'd love to see them add a Jace or another poke champion alongside that and really lean directly into that playstyle. On the other side of things, Elysium Dawn are creating their own playstyle with the Renekton. Alongside that, Talia and a Kaisa. This is a get in your face and make it difficult to do anything you want to do composition.
Yep, speaking of synergy, Renekton being able to stun people up so Talia can knock them back with WE combo will be great as a chain that Kaisa could play off of. Jumping forward, getting explosive damage out, picking off squishy members. That's what Elysium Dawn is trying to do with these first 3 picks. Now, Mystic Cats Black about to round out our first few selections, considering if they want to try to answer this early Renekton showing, or maybe they want to actually go just round out their bot side of the map by getting something alongside the Ezreal. Looks like it will be a Malphite to match up against the Croc.
Yeah, I don't hate that against a Croc, but I don't love it either. I think if you have an Ezreal and a Maokai, the issue might become that Malphite wants to team fight, wants to constantly get those big ultimates off, and I just don't know if Maokai and Ezreal have the damage behind it. So they will have to draft towards very strong solo laners, and another good engaged support to be able to match that Malphite. I feel like I would keep an eye on a Syndra and Orianna potentially, just really great damage alongside the Malphite. On the other side of things, I feel like Elysium Dawn are pretty comfortable where they're at. Keep an eye on a Nautilus or a Rakan to pair alongside the Kaisa. And then in the jungle, I just don't think you need to overthink it. This is a great Sejuani angle. Alongside a Renekton, you get the stun off. Talia is able to push them back. I feel like that is a really good combination with what they've built. As we look towards the bans, keep an eye on all of those champions. Right now, the Silas and the Yone going to be the first 2 to see off the board.
Makes a lot of sense. You really do not want that Malphite ult or the Nature's Graph stolen away from Misty Cat's Black, so they are going to proactively knock that out of the running as Elysium Dawn are going to take out that Yone. You know, recently, even as an experienced Talia player, I only just learned that Yone's ultimate is a blink and not a dash. That was very embarrassing.
Yeah, it's untargetable. I know that because I very many times have tried to CC him out of it, and I end up, in the ultimate and feeling pretty sad for myself. So there is that Syndra ban that I was talking about, but it's actually on the other side of things. Mystic Cats don't want to have to go against it. And then there's the Orianna ban that I was expecting to see. Orianna Malphite, just kind of a cheat code right there in Yarko. So it's they're going to ban it away. They don't want to have to see it. Xerath is very interesting, but that does synergize with that poke composition that we were both mentioning earlier.
Yeah, I really do like the Xerath here. It's a little bit of a flex into either support or mid. I think Queefy 5 layer in that mid lane for Misty Cat's Black is probably going to be the one to pick this up if it is in fact locked in. But notably, Red Squad has really kind of indexed into knocking out mid laners when Talia can fulfill that role and they can go for another jungler, which is still very open pool wise for Furry Little Feet on Elysium Dawn's side. Now, ultimately, it's not going to be the Xerath going mid though. It is a Nico instead.
Yeah, and I think Nico is strong with the Malphite, but you're starting to see a bit of a divide right here from Mystic Cats. You've got incredible engage with the Malphite Nico, and then you've got great disengage and poke with an Ezreal Maokai. And while it's not terrible to split compositions like that, I do think that the Malphite and Nico are going to go fully in, and they're going to say, "Hey, where's the rest of my damage?" Because right now they just don't have that hyper scaling high damage threat that I think they might expect. On the other side of things, I think the Braum is very strong against an Ezreal as well. Really great at negating that engage, but it's kind of a split thing as well for Elysium. They've got a great engage composition, but Braum is great disengage. So it'd be interesting to see how all of these pieces kind of fit into the jigsaw.
Yeah, I think the Braum is a really smart play by Elysium Dawn. They see a ton of poke on the enemy team. They see that Kai'Sa may struggle to get deep in the 2v2 versus Ezreal just because that champion is so avoidant. And so they say, hey, let's actually get a tool that will help set up versus the Malphite, versus the Maokai, get our own disruption and maybe another engage pathway for Renekton and company on our team. And I think that Braum is really the only support in this roster that fills everything out. So that's really cool. I like the Ahri as a matchup against the Nico. And Mystic Cat's Black ultimately have to save their counter pick for the support of all things. And yeah, Karma's pretty decent in this lane, but I really don't think that it's going to meld super well in the mid to late game identity of Mystic Cats, while Elysium Dawn have a lot of strong points.
Yeah, and the issue with the Karma as well is it's not even really a counter pick. It's a great lane pick with Ezreal, don't get me wrong, but Karma into Braum is just, it's kind of whatever, Braum just blocks pretty much all of your poke, and, you walk out a lane feeling kind of dissatisfied. So I think it's more of a pick alongside the Ezreal that you probably could have done one, maybe two picks ago, but they just kind of got backed into a wall. They wanted to pick the Nico and the Malphite. They didn't want it to get banned out. They wanted to make sure that Elysium Dawn didn't steal it away. And like you said, like they just kind of ended up with it's a meh counter pick. So kind of interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if it comes back to bite them in the butt. I'm glad you mentioned as well the Talia jungle because both of us I think were kind of expecting a Talia mid with the roam ability and with how strong it is just at clearing waves. But Talia jungle is still very very strong, and that's just because it clears the camps so incredibly quickly. It's kind of broken. So I would expect to see this Talia on the map quite often. You get the movement speed boost with the passive, and so I would expect to see quite a lot of ganks early on.
Yeah, I would hope to see a lot of ganks. That being said, there's not a great amount of setup super early into this one. You're hoping that Ahri can land those charms so that Talia can actually get the CC chain going. Top side of the map, I would say that's where we'd see Furry Little Feet show up a ton, but they're up against a Malphite who's happy to sit under the tower, and while Renekton can eventually work through that health bar, Talia now needs a lot of items to do damage. So the real burden is, yeah, I can get the alley-oop going where I stun up the Malphite for you, Renekton, but can you actually work through that monstrous health bar and all the resistances?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but Malphite early, it's possible. I think also the thing is, early on in the game, Malphite, you don't need to kill the Malphite to get the Renekton a lead. I think one of the strong things about going against a tank is that you force their back a couple of times, you get them low, they can't really ever get you lethal, so you can just kind of poke them out. They have to take too many backs, they have to miss a couple of minion waves, and then you've already won the lane, and then you don't really need to be concerned about going top again. So could be a potential angle there. I think you're right though. It is going to be mid and top. There's just no way you could ever really gank bot, and that is, I think, where the weak side for Elysium Dawn comes because for Mystic Cats, it's the complete opposite, right? They want to ignore top side. They could focus mid lane if they want to try to get a pick onto the Ahri before 6. But bot lane is where they're going to get most of their advantages from because Karma Ezreal, one of the most annoying bot lane pairings to have to go against. It's up there with, Lucian Nami and Caitlyn Lux. Just a very strong pushing lane that will consistently poke you out. The Braum's going to help with that, but Mystic Cats want to get their advantages there, and I think they want to go early dragon stacking with those advantages.
Yep. Overall, I think that while Elysium Dawn does have a favorable ramp mid to late game, and they also have solid setup in these lanes, Mystic Cat's Black can just in a single team fight wombo combo the crap out of Elysium Dawn if they are caught unaware. Nico engage, Maokai engage, Malphite engage. Those are all immensely powerful CC tools that really synergize with one another as well. As long as one lands, there's a good chance all three of them are going to land in Bonfire. The worry that comes from that is now Ezreal, which isn't necessarily the highest damage AD carry in the game, all of a sudden gets these extended team fights they're able to zip it in and out of. Karma is going to be able to sustain for the long term with maybe two different mantra cycles. And from there, you really can push back against Elysium Dawn at all points. So while I do still favor blue side for this one, coming out of the narrative from seeding, coming out of the narrative of this first draft, Missy Cat's Black for a second time running can easily use that underdog power in a way to make a statement here in the start of the series.
Yeah, they have an opportunity to put the world on shock right now, to put the rest of the league on blast and say, "You didn't believe in us." Will this be the game one draft? We'll have to see. Gonna have a strong early and mid game because late game they do get outscaled pretty exponentially. So, but it's not impossible. I think what we've seen out of Ezreal and Worlds and solo queue and these amateur leagues is that it's pretty feast or famine on the champion. There's rarely like an even Ezreal. It's either you're dominating in the mid game or you're giga worthless late. So it'll be interesting to see if how this game goes and how this series goes. Because remember, Nyarko, we're talking about this one game. We have potentially five of them. So it'll be interesting. It'll be really exciting to see how both of these teams take this one and get ready for a pretty grueling night of League of Legends this Saturday.
Well, before we dive into our break, in order to get into game number one between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cat's Black, it is time to give thanks to our sponsors. Shout out to Coachify GG, just one of the best standards here in the entirety of the amateur scene, supporting so many different projects. They're even kind of working with our school right now, but I can talk about that at a later point. But here in the BOL, at the very least, they are supporting us, and we hope that you guys go and support them because they are a premier platform to find coaches and be a coach on. So if you're interested in coaching League of Legends or any other esport, definitely go check them out. And check out Glitch Energy as well for that no jitter energy boost that you need to get through the day and through what could be a banger series like this one. We'll see you guys on the other side. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Diamond Division for a semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. Taking to the Rift, I definitely have some faith in the Talia side of things, as usual, Bonfire. Love this champion, love her place in the meta right now, and we're seeing it jungle of all things, but Mystic Cats Black have also gotten their power picks, really relying on crazy five-man team fights off of Shentai's pick of this Malphite, Illusion layering that CC on the Maokai, and Queevy 5-layer coming in with that sucker punch of the Pop Blossom.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very strong fight with the Malphite and the Nico, and I'm going to avoid saying the names because, as many people know, League of Legends amateur names are a little absurd, as we are looking at right now. I mean, was that Cornstar? Oh my goodness, these names. Whatever, we'll
Yeah,
figure it out.
it's going to be a rough one. Amateur names more like immature names because my god, Bonfire.
I know it's for playing with 7-year-olds here, but it's okay. Have a little fun. Why not? Also, something that I don't think we've even mentioned. We're dealing with some world's finalists here. Weibo Gaming, OP Ivy, and Weibo Gaming Idris. Congratulations, boys! After beating BLG, they took the quick, was it 12-hour flight from Korea back to anywhere in America to play this game. So good luck, I suppose, and congratulations on the win.
Yeah, very impressive stuff, by the way, Weibo last night. One of the best of fives at Worlds I've seen since I've started getting into League of Legends, man. Really happy to see the Weibros rise up. Now, of course, gotta hope that T1 can bring us home for the ideal finals matchup.
Yeah, I might be alone in this. I was hoping for a BLG win, but I'm never
Damn.
mad. I'm never mad. I was just I think I'm in the camp that I think if Bin wins a world championship, he's top 3 or top laners of all time. And I like Bin, so but hey, if the Shy wins a championship, he's probably top 3 as well. So I guess it's a battle for who's the better top, and the Shy, congratulations.
Yeah, it's really the Shy redemption arc to a degree as well, if he's able to pick
True.
this up. Because my goodness, the opinion on him soured for so long on the international stage. Just kind of inconsistent, a little bit crazy, a little bit funky wonky at the end of the day, but nah, definitely popped off. Let's see if their teammate, though, WBG OP Ivy, will be able to make a statement on this. Renekton, Illusion to come in for the first gank of the game, and that is a fantastic Tangle Barbs landed on top of the Ahri. Tries to trade back with the Orb of Deception, but it goes wide, and now the Maokai has a kill. Topside, though, Shentai does have to flash back away from OP Ivy.
Yeah, that is tough because I saw the angle. Sometimes you look at a flash and you go, that was a terrible flash, but the idea was get the second proc of the Q off and maybe you trade it 1-for-1. It just did not work out like that. And the worst part about it, the Nico didn't even flash in response. And so not only do you die, you are now summonerless without flash against a Maokai Nico with so much, you see such great synergy in the jungle mid. That's a tough one, and you'd imagine that this Talia now needs to help out mid lane quite a lot because it is a tough position to be in.
The problem is, I really thought that Danny was going to be pivotal to Elysium Dawn actually getting those early ganks out, like you were talking about during the draft phase, Bonfire. Ahri either roaming out of this lane or setting up good CC for furry little feet is pretty crucial. And now, because the Ahri is going to be less of a playmaker as they are missing their summoner spells, we're going to have to look elsewhere on the map for Blue Squad to make a statement. Now, that being said, OP Ivy with the crazy 1v1 versus Shentai in that top side of the map does imply that there's a chance that we're going to get something happening for Elysium Dawn, but Mystic Cats Black first are just going to re-gank mid, and now Danny is less than half health with no way back to the lane.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Narco. I'm glad you brought that up because it doesn't even matter that they didn't get the kill. There's no summoners. You can't, play too aggressive because you don't have flash up, and you can't back because you don't have teleport up. So you're just forced into this uncomfortable position where you're just getting XP under the tower. Yes, you have the gold lead or the CS lead right now in the mid lane over a Nico, but you're just getting poked out. I gotta say, I feel like Illusion is playing this pretty perfectly because you're putting this Ahri behind, you're making this Ahri uncomfortable, and you're making it difficult to execute that game plan of early roams, of making the map feel very small for Mysticats. And this is what we've seen out of Mysticats this entire playoffs run so far. In their first series, they did just this, and they're doing it again. This is a team that looks possessed right now.
Yep, Danny just sitting under the tower, getting abused by the artillery fire from Queefy 5 layer. It's a very awkward position to be in, but now we do have a possible 2v2 in the top side of the map for a little feat. OP Ivy trying to set something up, but unfortunately, Illusion is covering this mightily well. And now with Queefy 5 layer having perma prio in that mid lane, they're able to imbalance a potential play, and still Elysium Dawn are in search of their first kill.
Yeah, and that's the roam ability that we were both mentioning, right? This Ari, we expected to be the first one on the roams. You could potentially go for a 3v2 in the top side, or at least force this Malphite off the wave. That didn't happen, so the Malphite got every single bit of CS there was there, felt very comfortable, you're able to force them off. And this Ari, all they get in response is some CS. So it is good though, they're able to get a shove off and as get some CS as well, get a back, get an item, it's all important things, but it has just been a rough early game for Danny. It's just not the position you want to be in. I will say OP Ivy, in this top side, doing what you need to do against the Malphite, up 10 CS.
Illusion's just going to camp mid, try to find something else, flash forward. The
Oh,
root is going to land. Queefy Fire gets charmed, but I don't think it matters all that much. Danny
oh.
able to get away with the Foxfire, luckily, but yet again taken within an inch of their life as topside Shentai and OP Ivy go at it. It's action across the map, but still no kills just yet.
Yeah, it looked good at the beginning, but they just weren't able to get the damage onto Danny. Now Danny is ult.
Pop Blossom gonna get the double stun. Danny immediately dies here. And while the WE combo from Furry Little Feet is going to be able to trade one back, it is overall favorable for Missy Cats.
Yeah, they are just abusing this mid lane right now. They got that first pick and they said, this is where I'm setting up camp. There is no reason to be anywhere else. I have a pushing bot lane. I have a tank in the top side. I'm not concerned about helping any other part of the map, and I love that, right? It's annoying. It's not fun to have to play against. I'm sure that Danny has some choice words for Illusion in the chat, but it doesn't matter because you're winning out in the game, and that's really what matters, right? If the Shy can pick Quinn in a professional League of Legends game in his semifinals, you can be as cringe as you want in any form of League of Legends, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Now, there is still a few things that we could look at as silver linings for Danny and the rest of Elysium Dawn. As a whole, they are still doing a good job trying to keep in tandem with the gold of Missy Cat's Black. And in particular, this Ari is actually doing a good job out CSing the Nico. And so it actually is kind of Illusion's burden to continue to support this champion in order to keep them on par with Ari, who may just be able to get out ahead in any isolated 1v1, especially now that they have the flashback gun.
Yeah, I do think that, the Nico hasn't been CSing perfectly, but as a whole, I think you'll take those kills, especially on your Maokai, because, with a lot of tanks, kills don't really equate to a lot, but those saplings start to hurt, man, especially if you're able to buy a demonic. Early on, those saplings can chunk you to, 10% per sapling, so you are just not thrilled that this Maokai is a little bit hyper ahead, especially with these early advantages. You get a little bit more XP, you get a little bit more gold, you get more saplings to throw around the map, it's tankier, and you get more like that on Very Little Feet.
Yeah, for a little feat, he's going to be knocked back by the Bramble Smash, is forced to flash away before the Pop Blossom comes out. Top side of the map, Dominus popped, OP Ivy trying to get on top of Shentai, flash forced out of the Malphite. They still have Unstoppable Force available, are going to preserve that ultimate as they walk back towards the tier 1.
Yeah, using the flash instead of the ultimate, definitely a little interesting right there. Cooldown's got a favorite, that's why.
Yep, this is a great call by OP Ivy, getting the 1v1 under the tower, even in the face of the Malphite ultimate. And that's kind of the problem. If you ordered it the other way, you use the ultimate to get under the tower, you would have the flash available to sustain versus the Renekton, keep them in tower range for longer, and you may have been able to get a trade back there.
Yeah, Shen just wanted to keep the flash up, or excuse me, keep the ultimate up to try to keep OP Ivy on their feet, but did not work out. They used the flash and the ultimate, and OP Ivy didn't even have to use the flash themselves. So very healthy as Very Little Feet. This Talia is playing with fire here.
I like the call by Furry Little Feet. OP Ivy realistically could try to come and reclaps on top of the Nico, and I think they will be able to pick up the kill off of it. A little bit closer comfort, but ultimately, I think if the Renekton was a bit more proactive in the rotation instead of looking for the plates, they could have gotten the Rift Herald alongside that kill.
Yeah, that's an interesting decision right there by the Nico. I was looking at the map and I was expecting a collapse with Illusion, potentially Shen on a teleport, but it was really only the Nico in a 1v1 against the Talia that quickly turned into not a 1v1 once everyone else arrived. And at this point, they're kind of just donating kills over, and with the CS advantages that Elysium Dawn already had, they are pretty firmly behind at this point, down 1,000 gold. So Bit of a head scratcher there. In the bot side, it's been very quiet, very boring, nothing really happening. All the action's been in the top side, but after these 10 minutes where we've seen a lot of action, you've got a 2-0 Renekton. Yes, this Ahri's behind, but they're doing fine in CS, and I feel like this Talia feels pretty comfortable as well. So as a whole, it felt like Mystic Cats had a pretty good grip on it, especially with that early advantages in the mid lane, but they've kind of lost that.
Yeah, I feel that if Queefy 5 layer just chased the Talia off the Rift Herald, that was a decent play overall for Missy Cat's Black as they did get first Dragon. But now another kill over to OP Ivy means that Shentai is going to be sitting under this tower for the rest of the game, or until the Renekton decides that they're just going to destroy that tier 1. Now, we do see another roam from the Nico. This time around, Tango Barbs are going to land. I don't know if Dominus is going to be enough to get the Croc to safety. Trying to zoom their way back into the river. No flash available, though. Now turning around, waiting into the 2v1. They do get some good heals off, forcing the flash out of the Nico, but Shentai is able to just absorb a lot of the aggro. Now, Furry Little Feet is trying to make this a 1-for-1. Good ultimate in. While they don't get the knock-up, Shentai is incredibly low, will be taken down, and Danny, going to be able to cancel the Pop Blossom, is going to collapse to make that overall another favorable play for Elysium.
Yeah, OP Ivy just does not die in the bot side. We have more action, though.
Yep, Waffle doing a good job of protecting Idris, taken to about half health. Still has their ultimate available, though. This means that this is going to be a very tenuous dive for Missy Cat's Black, but they're desperate to make something happen on the map, so they're going to go for it immediately. Here comes the Twisted Advance. Waffle being taken low, but the Tree Man is dead, and somehow the Braum lives. Idris able to push forward, and now Juicebox is incredibly taken aback. They're going to have to walk behind this wave, and it's all up to Cornstar to try to re-equalize this one, but Idris holds on, and now it's a 2-for-0, make it a 3-for-0 as Danny is going to approach the Karma, land the charm, and get the kill.
Yeah, that is a disaster. And Mystic Cats, my friend, you've been tamed, you've been declawed, and you've been sent back to the Summoner's Rift. Or I guess actually probably the base with question marks in your eyes because you had the lead, you had the advantages, and just feels like Elysium Dawn are playing a much slower, tempo-based League of Legends game right now. They're not really concerned about forcing plays, forcing fights. A couple of dives, a couple of fights that just haven't gone their way. And I think total that was a 5-for-1. OP Ivy the only one to fall, but the Croc is happy about those odds. They get themselves a 2,500 gold advantage, and Elysium Dawn are cruising in this game 1.
And scaling, I think, is going to ultimately favor them. Yeah, Missy Cat's Black have a really good team fight, and the synergy that comes from their spells will take them far, but it's not going to take them to the 40-minute mark versus Furry Little Feet versus Idris on this Kaisa. OP Ivy is probably the only person that gets outscaled, and they're up against Shentai, who's already being very deeply pushed on the timeline in order to build up the resistances to try to deal with the like of the Talia or the Ahri alongside all these AD damage dealers. It's a tough one.
Yeah, and you have to be concerned about the damage as well because it's really only the Ezreal and the Nico that are going to do consistent damage in these team fights, and Ezreal falls off pretty heavily, especially when they're not hyper-inflated with a lead. In the bot and in the mid lane, this Nico is 2 and 3. It's not really enough of a lead to be feeling that good. We have more in the mid lane or the bot side.
Yep, Juicebox is going to be hit by the Braum passive. Idris gets that kill. No need for the seismic shove out of Furry Little Feet. They were holding that, trying to find a way onto Cornstar, but the Ezreal will get to safety. It does cost them their support and perhaps some tower plays as we also see the Rift Herald being dropped. We do have a Nature's Grasp on the back end of this one. I don't think Illusion can pull the trigger, though. There's just not enough people for Red Team here to try to make something happen. It's a 4v2. True Shot Barrage goes wide. Furry Little Feet just picks it up, and Queefy 5 layer is now isolated inside of the river. They're going to try to activate the Pop Blossom, and while they almost kill Furry Little Feet, it will in fact just be a double-double back over to Elysium Dawn's jungler.
Nyarko, this turned into a close game that we potentially saw upset potential in to a bit of a stomp, a bit of a rout. Elysium Dawn, wake up, remember who they are and what seed they are, and man, they are playing like that 2 seed right now. They just look so in tempo, in tune with themselves, consistently taking fights that are always favoring them. That is the worst to play against as well. It's not only are they taking consistent fights, they're taking consistent winning fights. It is so difficult for Mystic Cats to get back into this game. We talked about the scaling. We talked about the objectives. Oh my goodness. That is basically a one-shot on this Karma. What? Yeah, that is basically a one-shot on the Karma.
And now Shentai is teleporting to a lane where there's really no kills to be had. Yeah, you have Flash Ultimate up, but you'd go so deep, you'd probably die for it. And OP Ivy's just going to get the tier 1 for free.
Yeah, that's top tower down. That's the first turret. This Renekton is huge, and blink and you miss it. It is a 5,000
Oh
gold lead.
god,
Corn Star's
Cornstar's
dead.
is dead!
Uh, Yarko, what is happening?
We are watching a stomp unfold, my friend. Elysium Dawn are so favored in this game now. Up 6,000, almost 7,000 gold. Ivy is just a one-man army. And guess what? You have the rest of your forces rallying around Dragon, splitting the stacking away from Mystic Cat's Black. And the map is just so opened up in favor of Elysium, who can use their hard roaming jungler and mid laner to great effect. Danny is still struggling in this 1v1 versus Queefy 5 layer, but now Waffle's happy to walk up through the river to assist them to push this wave out, and now to set their sights on yet another tier 1 tower.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's worse than just a stomp. A stomp implies you didn't have a chance at all. You know, pack it up, back to the drawing board, have a banana or a protein bar, get your wits about you, and go to the next game. This was close. This was worse than close. Mystic Cats had the lead for quite a bit, and we were talking about how they were doing well. You know, we felt like they had done a really good job in the mid lane, setting this Ari behind. We were happy that Illusion had a couple of kills, maybe get a little tankier. Those saplings going to really start to burn them down. This is worse than a stomp because they I feel like have actively thrown this lead, or they just haven't been able to hold on to it. And so if they're going to go back to the drawing board, they're probably a little frustrated because they're thinking, man, this was a blown opportunity. This was a golden opportunity to do something. And Queefy 5 later, it's a good pop blossom, but you're just dead, man.
Yeah, could be a 1-for-1 though. Furry Little Feet picks up the kill, but they are going to be traded. The problem is, Shutdown goes over to the Karma support.
Yeah, that's a disaster.
Yep. Also, if Shentai dies here, this is further disaster, as I don't think there's going to be much of a base left for Mystic Cat's Black. A good flash away is going to save them, and in fact, they will get a shutdown. OP Ivy a little bit too deep there, my friend.
Yeah, maybe a little limit testing. I think that had an opportunity to dash away right there, but decided to go back. And look, when you're at this point in the game, I do feel like those solo kills aren't going to matter too much for the gold. It is nice to get some money on your tank. I think that's going to be one of the more concerning things, is who's going to be able to tank up all of this front damage. The initial burst of an Ari charm into a Talia knockup into a Kaisa full combo is going to do a lot of damage, so you hope that the Malphite or the Malkite can be tanky enough to be able to deal with that. But they're losing out across the map. That is going to be the last, I believe. No, they have the mid turrets. So that is going to be a second turret to fall. But that is a rough place to be in. And yeah, they're down 5,000 gold at this point. I feel like Rift Herald's probably going to get started soon. Not a fun position to be in. Mystic Cats. Game 1.
Yeah, this is looking rough for them. Although the gold gap has shrunk a little bit, Bonfire. It's only about 5,500 now in favor of Elysium Dawn. That is comebackable, and furthermore, if you can use your team fighting prowess to great effect, you can really try to close that gap just by virtue of champion synergy and where you are in regards to your power spikes. Now, I'm not saying that any of these fights are going to be super favorable for Mystic Cats, but this may be their best chances. We do see Waffle try to forge forward. Nature's Grass going to use. And look at the flanking open. Shentai on a 3-man knockup. Shentai on 3-man knockup. And I don't think this Glacial Fisher's going to do anything. Teleport from the sky, but Ivy's too late. Waffle's going to be wiped out. And even if they manage to get one back, it doesn't matter. Mystic Cat's Black have turned this game around. A triple kill for Illusion.
That is a horror right there from Elysium Dawn. You talk about the team fighting, and just like Freddy Krueger, it pops up as soon as you mention it. It's a horror. Elysium Dawn were in a great position, still are in a good position, but that is going to even the gold, or at least get it within throwing distance to make it close. And they get hit by every bit of CC, every bit of damage. And the thing is, you gotta think, Nyarko, do you really want to fight without your 4-0 Kaisa? They didn't really have a choice. They had to fight. They were forced to fight, and they were forced to lose right there.
Nothing back for Elysium Dawn. Shentai able to re-rotate back up to the top side of the map, claps a wave onto that tier 1 tower, trying to get a little bit more gold over to Mystic Cat's Black, but they are well and truly on their way to actually being competitive around these neutral objectives, and those are the fights you want to take. What a fantastic flank out of the top laner of Mystic Cats to bring them right back into the series, but they have to try to stick the landing now, and Idris is still a massive obstacle between them and a victory in this game number 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. They fought without Idris. So
Oh,
it's
no.
Great. Oh, backing
Yeah,
on a
Queefy
word.
5 layer is just dead. Even the Pop Blossom is going to be dodged. Ignite dropped. Doesn't matter. Danny knows which one's the real Nico, and they will, in fact, slay their mid lane partner.
Yeah, so the question is, what ramifications is that going to have across the map? They're going to lose vision around Dragon. That's up in 25 seconds. I think that's probably the only thing they lose. Baron's not up until just about now. They're able to get mid lane push as well. So it will have ramifications. There will be gold that is going to be given over because it's a 4v5 across the map. The question is, do they continue this fight? Do they want to continue going this way? They do have the Talia ultimate if they want to zone them in here.
Good snipe straight onto Cornstar. OP Ivy approaching, trying to find an angle that forces out the Shirelias early in this fight. Juicebox is going to be able to withdraw their Maokai and Ezreal for the time being, but there's definite siege potential there for Elysium Dawn. And with the reset coming through, Maokai's just going to be giving up this third Drake of the game.
Yeah, I don't think it's too bad to give up that dragon. They do lose the mid turret as well, so it doesn't feel great. That is more gold injected back into Elysium Dawn, but as a whole, you don't lose any more members. I think you're probably okay with that trade at the end of the day. Set up some vision around Baron, which is exactly what they're doing, and they could potentially try to force their hand at taking an uneven fight like they did last time, because that's how they got that fight last time. It was vision control. They were able to get a good teleport flank on with the Malphite. Maokai Malphite. I didn't realize that. Okay, that'll be fun. With the Malphite, and they were able to recognize, hey, they were all grouped up. So if they can set up good vision control, that is how they're going to take winning fights.
Any fight from here on out is going to be that much more impactful on the game state as well, Bonfire, because of the potential for a surviving team to go get that Baron Nashor and really open this map up. I do think that rotational priority is super important for both of these squads. Having the ability to move your vision line up, look for these ambush plays off of OP Ivy or Shentai on one side or the other is really, really valuable.
Yeah, I think it's very important. They're able to get a tower in the bot side. You're just roaming somebody up. Danny has to be a little careful. Does have the ultimate and flash, so should be fine. No concerns about the Malphite ult. And it's interesting. I'm curious to see where they're kind of roaming everybody around. Because right now, they don't have anybody on the top side, and it's crashing.
Oh,
Juice box.
Yep, and that's a killer instinct use. Idris is going to be able to pick that kill up before Illusion can get that Nature's Grasp over on top of the three blue squad members. And now the Maokai also has to flash a safety. Cornstar doing a good job trying to play as a zoner, but unfortunately, Sweepy 5 player is not able to find a kill off their Pop Blossom. Now the Maokai is shut down. Idris goes a bit too deep on the chase versus the Ezreal, but still, that is going to be a 3-for-1 in favor of Elysium.
Yeah, it's just a great extended fight right there, and that's going to be the call for Baron. That was the
This
issue,
is
right? You
risky.
had that. Look, you had that team fight. It is risky, but there's no Malphite. There's the teleport. Here we go. 2v1, 2v4.
Yep, Cornstar trying to hold on, is able to cleanse out of the way of Ari's burst, does manage to get one back, and now over the wall, they're actually going to be able to pick up a double-double, but Furry Little Feet is going to answer that in kind with 2 kills of their own. While this does stop Baron Nashor, Mystic Cat's Black aren't able to get a whole lot in return.
Yeah, it's a 2-for-2. I think they're probably pretty happy about that. It was looking like it was going to be pretty rough, teleporting into 4 people, but I guess with the health bars and the poke and the ultimate, they were actually able to proc and prod and ensure that the Baron doesn't fall. Because make no mistake, when that Baron falls, I do kind of think that's the game for either team, but especially for Elysium Dawn. There's just so much standing gold. I mean, there's 3 turrets they can take before they even get to the inhibitor turret. And they're able to shove in waves. They're able to get potentially a 3rd dragon. I do feel like that Baron probably is deuces. So Mystic Cats, yes, they lose 2 members there, but they don't lose the Baron critically, and so they keep this game going.
Yeah, at the same time, though, I think that double kills like that will ultimately favor Elysium Dawn. I mean, Talia's at 8-1 right now, Bonfire. 8-3, excuse me. That is still very difficult to come back against. Yeah, Cornstar has a little bit more gold in their pocket, but now the jungler of Elysium Dawn has exceeded 3 items. OP Ivy is in a very similar position on this Renekton as well. It's a pretty rough prospect for Missy Cat's Black to reset up this river on the top side of the map. Illusion is going to try to bully their way in, but taking a lot of poke doing so.
Yeah, I like this from Illusion, recognizing that they're tanky, they can take some poke for it, and they're able to set up that vision control, which is very, very important. They do have 4 members, which does mean that this Renekton should be able to get a push in the bot side. They're going to have a pushing wave there. Idris was forced to push out mid lane, so not alongside the team right now. And here's the 1v1 I don't think anybody wants to see, because it is a boring one.
It's also a 1v1 that is massively favoring this Renekton because they still have that teleport available. As long as Shentai is pushed far enough back that they won't be able to confidently rotate over to a neutral objective like the Baron Nashor, this Renekton is going to be there to imbalance any plays, and without a big engager like the Malphite, I think that Miss Cat's Black are just going to crumble in those kinds of fights.
Yeah, I'm actually glad you mentioned that. And they're actually going to do it as well, just as I was thinking about it. They recognize, hey, no teleport on this Malphite. We just saw it. We can start up the Baron. Now, the thing is, OPIV cannot die here. That is very important. And actually, it's just going to be the full 1v1 commit while Baron's going over.
While it does, that is a massive Pop Blossom to set up for Missy Cat's Black cleanup crew. They're going to look for more. Idris has already been taken down. Weaver's Wall is not going to be able to block Illusion from getting on top of the Ahri, and Waffle is being dealt with in the 2v1. Furry Little Feet gets out, as does the Renekton in the bot side of the map, but you lost a lot of gold right back over to Misty Cats.
Yeah, they just fight uneven right there, and I feel like the team fighting that Mystic Cats has drafted for themselves is really coming in handy because there was no need for the Malphite. That Nico ultimate was massive, and they lined it up with the Nature's Grasp. And now Mystic Cats looking like they have a fighting chance in this game, especially if they're able to get this dragon. Even the dragon's up 2-2. I mean, don't look now, but this game's still going. I don't think either of us expected with the gold lead that Elysium Dawn had, this game would be going on this far.
No, not at all, but Elysium Dawn have been disrespectful to all the different means of approach that Misty Cat's Black have at their disposal. Therefore, they take a risky Baron Nashor, and yes, while the Big Purple Worm is grabbed, it's only 2 members of your team suited up. Luckily, one of them is the Renekton, so you manage to get 2 pushing lanes going, but I don't know, man. The fact that you also see the Dragons further split means that Elysium Dawn still are on the hunt for their true win condition in this game.
Yeah, I think that they just have to shove it in mid, or they have to split. Sorry, they have to split the lanes because, like you said, they have a great team fighting composition. If the Malphite and the Nico are able to be together alongside a Maokai, I do feel like they probably team fight a little bit better. And so they need to get this Renekton on a side lane, potentially get the Ahri on a side lane as well, and just go with a 1-3-1 or a 4-1 split and just shove the waves in and just choke them out of this game. It feels like they've consistently taken fights, which can be good if you're winning the fights, but currently they are not, and that is a great fake out from the Nico.
Yeah, you can see the gears in Ivy's head turn as they go from one to the other, and they eventually are going to follow the clone instead of the real Nico, who is going to be able to just back off.
Yeah, great back right there. And that's exactly what they're doing, by the way. They are taking my advice, or just, I guess, taking their own advice, because they recognize that is where their strength lays. That is where they're going to have the best chance at winning this game, just shoving out the side lanes and you know, kind of choking them out of vision, which is exactly what they're doing. I mean, look at the line of vision that they have in this top jungle. It is going to get cleared out right now, but a really, really great start to be, because they recognize, you know, where everybody is on the map, where the rotation points are. They're able to get waves shoved in. They're able to take jungle camps away potentially. It's a great position to be in, and it is going to mean that this gold lead is back up to almost 5,000 after dropping to, you know, nearly 2.
Yeah, at the same time, proportionally, that gold gap matters a little bit less, Bonfire. It is a 5k gold gap at like an 18-minute mark versus a 5k gold gap at nearly 30 minutes into this game. So Mystic Cat's Black still definitely has a chance to strike at the heart of Elysium Dawn. They just really need to rally their forces, get them together, and ensure that prior to things like this next dragon spawning up or this next Baron coming, that they do not lose any individual members on a side lane push.
Yeah, and this is a 3-item Ezreal now. So we haven't really mentioned Cornstar's name that often, and that's just because he's been so far behind, but could be a huge problem now as they're looking for a collapse here.
Yep, that being said, this Nature's Grasp is, I think, a little bit too far away to actually land upon any core members of Elysium Dawn. And so now Mystic Cat's Black are down that huge engage tool, and Furry Little Feet has been able to split Queefy from the rest of the team, immediately picks it up, and while they are at about half health, that's totally worth it, as Malphite is still trying to deal with the top side of the map. Now we have the Renekton on the flank, Glacial Fissure is going to land, and now the Maokai is isolated, taken out once again by the unstoppable force of the Talia, and so Idris is going to kill her instinct under the tower. Pick it up versus Cornstar. Down goes the tier 2 tower. Furry Little Feet is getting sure that Juicebox cannot back, and this could just be the end of the game.
Yeah, I think this is the end of the game. They do have the Malphite ultimate, so if he can ult the wave, potentially not. Very Little Feet does have to be careful as I cough right there, but he gets the kill instead, and with only the Malphite, I don't think you can ult this entire wave. This game is over.
Does manage to get a multi-man knock-up, it just doesn't matter. Lock of the Iron Solari is going to take the edge off of that play, and now it is in fact an ace on the map. Queefy 5-layer gonna get back up in time to try to find a kill. Will be able to get Talia, but can they save their towers? That's the real question, is now Idris is getting funneled even deeper. The wave is done for. There is super minions pushing into the mid lane now, but Illusion is back up in time to keep this going on for a little bit longer.
Yeah, they were able to clear the wave right there critically. That's what I was talking about. The Malphite got it low, and then the Nico knocked it down. So it is dire straits right now for Mystic Cats. When you're ulting and flashing just to save waves, you know that it is a tough, tough position to be in. But the most important thing is that their Nexus is still alive, Nyarko. The silver lining there. But they are on their last legs right now. They are limping to the finish line. A fight right there that just got split off by the Talia ultimate. Beautifully played, and they picked them off one by one, just like eating popcorn at a movie theater. I want more.
Yeah, I don't really eat popcorn one by one. I'm not gonna lie, Bonfire. I kind of just
Really?
shovel it into my mouth. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm weird for this, but I like doing like kind of like, like you ever see a cartoon where they kind of like throw it into their mouth? I don't know. I like doing it like
No,
that.
I get you. I get you. That's a lot of self control right there, man. So I respect it. It's also better because then you actually have popcorn for the actual movie instead of just the commercials beforehand.
It's true. Well, I said I like doing it that way. My self control doesn't always allow me to, but
That's
when
fair.
I'm able to control myself, it's more fun.
Well, we do have a potential fight in the bot side of the map. Great splitting once again, but this time around, Shentai is going to be here with an ultimate available to get the
Ooh,
double knock-up, and
get on.
already, Danny's out of this play. The problem is, Waffle is now getting a knock-up onto Elysium. On the far side of this fight, Cornstar is already forced out, Idris gets the kill, and this is looking about over. A great, valiant effort at the very end from Mystic Cats Black to try to bring this one back. Unfortunately, they just do not have the firepower to deal with the wallet diff, and now with a triple kill onto the Kaisa, Elysium Dawn are going to make their victory lap, teleporting into the mid lane to knock these towers down.
Yeah, that'll do it. I think if you're a critic, you can say, hey, this game should have ended a long time ago. They should have won this one a long time ago. But a win's all that matters. Very little feet will die on the back end of it just to stop the base, but it does not matter. KDA be damned. They get themselves the win. And Elysium Dawn, the powerhouses, the number 2 seed, the predicted favorites potentially, get themselves the first game under their belts. They move to 1-0 on the series.
Congratulations to Elysium Dawn. Now the question is, can they take this even deeper, or are Mystic Cats Black going to be able to answer back? There were clear strengths on their side. I'm not going to lie, Bonfire. That became a lot more competitive after the first, 5, 6 kills went over to Elysium Dawn than expected. So there's always a shot, especially with the time to evolve that a best of 5 gives you.
Yeah, I think that you look at that composition and you're like, well, all right, let's think. Malphite, that was great. The Maokai, pretty good as well. I liked the Nico. It's the bot lane where things really started to fall apart because they just didn't have enough consistent damage on top. You get that Nico and Malphite ultimate paired alongside you. You want a Zaya, you want a Kaisa, you want a Jinx, something of that sort. Hell, I would actually rather even have a Misfortune. But they just have an Ezreal who has great single damage, good poke damage, doesn't really fit with their composition. And you look at the damage charts, 22,419 for the Corn Star. It's not bad, but when you have such great setup, you'd probably want a little bit more. And it's not Corn Star's fault either. I just think that the draft kind of let them down in the mid to late skirmishes.
All right, well, we're going to throw it over to a quick break because I got to go watch some sumo. And beyond that, we got to get ready for the next game. So we will see you guys on the other side. We'll see you guys in the next draft. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Diamond semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. We're entering onto the draft for game number 2, and once again, Elysium Dawn is going to be on that blue side that got them the victory in that first round.
Yeah, and it was, I think, a good side for them as well because they were able to get their power picks. Didn't really feel like they got countered that hard either. It just felt like they were in a pretty comfortable position. So they're going to go back to the well that served them well. Um, no pun intended, pardon. And we're also not seeing any bans that are really in reactions to game one. So both sides saying, you know what, it wasn't the compositions, it was the way we played it out. Are we going to have a salty run back? Elysium Dawn says yes.
I think at the very least, we're going to have a partial run back. I like
Yeah.
Talia coming out here on the B1. Mystic Cats Black, I don't think, struggled by going for that Maokai. That was not the problem that they were having in this game. So I could see that being picked up for Illusion once again. But I do want to see a little bit of a more strong bot laner or something that can be played with a little bit more confidence in the hands of Cornstar, who really became that main damage dealer for Red Team.
Yeah, I substitute. Yeah, I was saying it. Substitute Ezreal Karma for Zyra Khan. That is a winning team. Jinx as well. Sure, this is fantastic. So, I guess it's a slightly salty run back. It is it is we're shifting a couple of things. So we'll have to see if Elysium Dawn want to stick to the same game plan. They have been afforded the opportunity. They could 100% do it if they want to. I actually think Mystic Cats is almost baiting them to do it. Elysium Dawn deciding against it.
Yeah, it's not a slightly salty run back. It is a very salty, just not quite as much of a run back here, Bonfire. That's the differentiation. The Aphelios, a pretty classic response to the Jinx, still being hovered by Elysium Dawn, eventually is going to be grabbed. Now, let's see if they're going to round out their bot lane here. Remember, this Talia doesn't necessarily have to go in the jungle role either. That could be grabbed here.
I would go Thresh here. I think this is a great
Agreed.
Thresh angle. You steal the Thresh away from the Jinx. You get it for the Aphelios. I think the Renekton's not terrible, and you do have the concerns of it being banned away. But now you have to be concerned about Thresh being banned or picked away. And I feel like Aphelios kind of needs a Thresh or something of that caliber alongside him. You know, Melio Aphelios, Thresh Aphelios. Lulu Aphelios is not great meta-wise, but it's not terrible. Something of that sort, because if you go full engage with an Aphelios, you kind of leave him on an island, which really allows him to, puts him in danger of being picked off.
I don't know what Shentai is going to be picking. That's my real question mark for Misty Cat's Black right now. We are going
Mm,
to see the Lulu Jinx actually
mm.
grabbed in the R3, but to really quickly touch upon this top side of the map, we didn't see them do a great job on that Malphite actually defending against the Renekton early. There were some questionable teleports out of this player during that game number 1. So do you want to try to fight fire with fire when Ivy may just be the better player out of these two, or do you want to go to another defensive engager that's really looking to set up for the rest of their team? Jinx certainly can take over team fights, as now we do see the Blitzcrank ban to try to defend against the possible pick off of these squishies.
Yeah, I don't know if I fully agree with it. I think the Malphite actually was probably okay. Did have some, questionable teleports, but as a whole, also had some pretty insane engages. The only reason that game went that long. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to go back to that Malphite. The issue with Renekton, and the reason that I ban him every time I play top lane, is it's really hard to abuse a Renekton. Renekton is a very, very strong champion, and so you just concede and you go into another tank top laner, or you do try to battle it out, and if you lose, then you're really in a tough position. And it'll be interesting to see if Shentai, what avenue they take. There is also always, you could be kind of cringe and go Quinn, or you could go Vayne. Those are good into Renekton, that ranged matchup. But as a whole, man, Renekton, very, very strong, a good lane stomper, difficult to go into.
Yeah, especially in the right hands. Ivy, I think, has been piloting this champion to perfection throughout the entirety of the series. Notably, we don't see the Thresh ban, so this is still something that Waffle can take. I'd also be down for them to just go Braum again, honestly.
Yeah, this is a good Braum angle. I don't think you're wrong. Braum against Jinx it makes it really hard for her to get excited in these team fights. So I don't hate that either. I would not, hate a Braum, especially into an Ivern. That's not terrible as well. Mystic Cats kind of running into the same wall that they did in game one, though. Where's their damage coming from? It's a Maokai top, I think, and an
I think it's an
Ivern.
Ivern mid.
You think it's an Ivern mid? It could be, but
Hmm.
again, they have great shielding. They have great team fighting. In terms of staying alive for a while. Jinx is their solo damage right now, which is a little worrying.
At the same time, it's tons of support for that Jinx to get ahead. Cornstar, I think, has
Yeah.
positioned super well in that last game. That was one of their strengths. And yes, Ezreal has cushioned the burden to be able to position well. But I have confidence that they could just be the person that Mr. Cat's Black wants to build their entire team around. That being said, yes, they do need at least one other damage dealer, hopefully a little bit of AP coming out of most likely Queefy 5 layer. But honestly, I'm looking at this. This could be an Ivern top.
Yeah, I don't know where the Cybern's going. I really think it depends on this last pick to see, and it doesn't feel like Elysium Dawn know either. They are just confused on who to pick. This Yone's not terrible alongside the Rel Renekton, and they are going to lock it in. They have AP with the Talia. It's good. Another good hyper scaler. You know, you got to grab that Syndra. So I guess there's two damage dealers, and they have a ton of support. And if they die, the fight's over. Vigar's actually even more into that. Lux is I would not pick Lux personally. Okay, now they're just scrolling through the champions. They want to hear my opinion on everybody. Akali, don't pick Akali. Katarina,
Katarina,
don't
don't
pick
pick a
Katarina. Don't
Katarina.
pick Katarina.
Syndra, you pick
Yeah,
Syndra.
yeah, pick a Syndra.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
Hey, glad we could come to an agreement, Queefy.
yeah, Queefy was very, very indecisive, we'll say. Yeah, Syndra's great. I think Syndra, gets a lot of the same benefits as a Jinx does. Of you're able to shield them, keep the Syndra alive for very long, and if this goes late, Syndra Jinx very difficult to have to deal with. But at the same time, Elysium Dawn, I don't think either of them, with all the shielding in the world, is surviving a full Rel Yone Aphelios ult combo. Like that will just blow just about anybody up. So they do need to be concerned with that.
Yeah, what I'm kind of worried about in this draft is that Mystic Cat's Black, while they have now gotten two incredibly powerful damage dealers in that mid to late game, they are actually a little bit worse off when it comes to team fight potential versus Elysium Dawn, who are very well set up to just bring people together and blow them up with an Aphelios ultimate placed at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? You want to talk about scaling? Yeah, Jinx Syndra, that's fantastic. There's an Aphelios, so I just don't. You will scale as well as an Aphelios. You might scale a little worse than an Aphelios. If this game goes 55 minutes, I would rather have an Aphelios. I just would. Your autos do a million damage, and your ults blow up every single person. So I think that for both of these teams, it's going to be hard. I also think for Mystic Cats, I don't know how you kill this Aphelios. that's my biggest concern because you don't really have a lot of great pick potential. It has to be the Maokai. The Rel just tanks the Maokai ultimate. Okay, then it has to be the Ivern. How the hell are you going to root the Aphelios through everybody? Syndra Scatter of the Week, I guess, is your best option, but as a whole, late game, this Aphelios is going to be a huge problem to have to deal with, and Mystic Cats just don't have a lot of great CC to deal with. I mean, beyond Aphelios, really anybody.
What must be done?
Yeah, I think that right now, my major concern for Elysium Dawn, though, is that you can just kind of divide and conquer this team. There's really good pick capacity out of the likes of Syndra with that long-range stun. Ivern can root collar in, and then if you do manage to get activated, if you do manage to take out someone like Furry Little Feet, the puzzle pieces that Elysium Dawn need to have click in place for a 5v5 to go their way do kind of fall by the wayside.
Yeah, that is definitely a concern. So we'll have to see. I think both of these drafts are interesting. I actually think both of them are a little worse than last game, but we'll see. We'll have to see how they turn out. Talia jungle. Elysium Dawn really believe in that Talia jungle, and it's hard not to. That was a very, very strong Talia jungle game last time. So I know you've gone on record saying Talia is much better in the mid lane because she can hyper scale a little better. But Talia is not weak in the jungle and definitely has its strength. So we'll have to see if can have a similar performance as the game.
Yeah, I do think right now, Bonfire, that I've had it proven to me through that first game that Talia Jungle definitely can work. I think it's also still a good role for her.
Right.
But in here, I think it also is dodging some of the more concerning matchups. The Maokai going to the top side here in this client draft is not what I was expecting. Ivern Jungle, though, might be able to stabilize versus Talia because it's not like Furry Little Feet can invade super early without massive priority out of either Danny or Ivy.
Yeah, I actually think Maokai into Renekton's not bad on paper. Anytime Renekton wants to dash in to get his full combo on you, you just Q and walk away, and that's a lot of his rage and him trying to get in. And if he ever goes Dominus or goes for a stun on you, you go untargetable with your W, and you feel pretty comfortable. So I don't hate it. I think Maokai can be strong in that regard. The big issue there is that Maokai Ultimate, Nature's Grasp, best utilized in the jungle because you can use it in many different lanes. Only going to be used in the top side, not nearly as good. Also, you have an Ivern Maokai, which just tree men. I don't think you're ever going to kill this Renekton in a 2v1, so You are kind of wasting that Nature's Grasp for the first 15 minutes of the game, but you will have it late in the game.
All right. Well, we are going to throw it over to a quick break now in order to get into the second game here in this best of 5 series of the BOL Diamond semifinals. Elysium Dawn, Mystic Cats Black, going to be right back at you. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the BOL Diamond semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. Moving S5, Red Squad are trying to find a pick through this bot lane. Possible engage and invade angle, definitely, off the back of the Ivern Root Collar and the damage that the Syndra and the Jinx are packing. Moving through these bot lane bushes, nobody's there to call them out just yet. And now Idris is walking a little bit too far forward for comfort.
Idris! I might have to flash her. I think Idris is going to have to flash her.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get hit by the root collar, so it might be too late to flash now. And with that right-click engage, Shentai is just going to pick the kill up and take that to the top side.
Idris, my boy, walked into the wall, started pathing, was like, oh, that's a wall there. Started pathing away, and didn't flash the... Okay.
Well, at least they didn't burn anything, so you could say
Yeah.
that the 400 gold could be answered back, but Elysium Dawn starting to deficit for a second game running.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm never a fan of losing. I mean, what you it's a kill and 4 assists. That's
Yep.
rough. That is rough. We're already starting to see that this Maokai getting a favorable start for himself. I like this as well. You get the cloth armor, and then you get yourselves the 2 more pots just to help sustain against this Renekton. So OP Ivy probably thanking his Weibo teammate, saying, "Thanks, guy. I have to go into a tougher lane now."
All right. Well, we notably did not get the kill onto a major carry in this game, so Missy Cat's Black are not going to be able to just pivot off of a really powerful start for Cornstar or Queefy 5-layer. Those are the people that I want to now see Illusion try to get ahead for the rest of this laning phase.
Yeah, and I think Illusion now can just ignore top lane. You know, top lane should be fine for quite a while. If Shentai throws this, something has gone horrendously wrong. You've got 3 pots. You've got biscuits as well. I mean, you really should be fine into this lane. So you don't really need to worry about top. And then you can just help out other lanes. Ivy is trading into this. I do feel like Shen feels pretty comfortable, although missing that Q is tough.
Yeah, missing that Q, that Bramble Smash going wide does mean that Ivy's going to come out health positive on this play. Of course, the Tree Man can just re-sustain, though, and that is the thing I'm a little bit worried about for the Croc. They have Wave, Cryo, and Push. I don't know how long that's going to last for.
Yeah, I do think that the Croc does have some sustain as well, you know, healing in the kit, so should be okay. We're starting to see in the mid lane. This is the problem, and good scatter of the week, but Syndra, yeah, just in an uncomfortable position, has to flash.
Yep. Furry Little Feet not quite there to try to follow up on the Force Splash from the Syndra to make a kill happen. So that's still something that Elysium Dawn needs to access in this early game. But right now, they're doing a good job taking that early death from Idris' stride. Hopefully, they will be able to make a statement as Ivy is going to take a tower shot here. And now Shentai has some solid push back.
Yeah, this Maokai pick, I think we're starting to see why they decided that, you know, they feel it's pretty good into the Renekton. You know, just be able to push him back, get consistent damage. Like you said, you can sustain with your passive. Actually forces the first pack out of Ivy, which is what you love to see. Danny running into Illusion, gets rooted up as well. Uh-oh, might be in some trouble, in a lot of trouble. He's dead.
Yeah, I don't know where Yone is going to go. They're hit by the scatter of the week. There's 4 members on top of the Yone for the time being. No ultimate available. While they are holding onto their flash, this is going to be a very sticky situation to try to get out of. They're going to use it over the Raptor wall. They've actually bought some prodigious space as the Jinx needs to get back to the bot side of the map. I think Yone might just be out.
I think the best case scenario is you execute right here, and Danny is recognizing that. Should just stand here for half a second and then go for the execute. Was that enough time? It was. Okay, good execute. I guess, yeah, worth a flash for an execute right there. You don't give your laner a kill. So well played. Also, you wasted so much time of the Syndra. So it's not like that entire time she was chasing you and getting advantages that way. So happy days, you know, with the death timers being this early as well. You're able to teleport back. And as a whole, what looked like kind of disastrous moment for Danny didn't actually end up mattering that much.
Oh yeah, Idris is now really high up on CS versus Cornstar, and when you're in a Cole matchup, that's fantastic. And now Illusion is here to try to make a play happen, but Juicebox is too far behind. I don't think that this is much more than a 2v2 that Elysium Dawn is able to walk out of.
Yeah, I gotta say though, very impressed with Illusion so far. I mean, early pathing in Ivern is not easy. I know it's easy to farm because you can just take them. You're a friend of the tree. But, you know, knowing when to time your farms, they're like 30 seconds. You have to know when to kind of wrap back around, even in CS, or just under, I suppose. And that is the third gank, or the second or third gank that this Ivern has had. So it's been very impressive. I don't think it's very easy to be, you know, an Ivern ganking. So good work, Illusion. You get the bonfire seal of approval. Congratulations. Wear it with
Furry
pride.
Little Feet, though, is ahead on CS, doing a good job at pathing to the top side to steal away some of those chicken nuggets. Now, Ivern is never expected to be ahead of the Talia. The problem is Bonfire. This Talia is also expected to do a hell of a lot of damage in this game, and Illusion is going to need to try to find a way to destabilize this champion by either hitting that root collar or getting out of the way so that Cornstar can clear them up.
Ooh, Ivy just got 6 right there. I think if he had Dominus, would have popped it and probably go for the all-in. Does get a good chunk off, though, as Danny just going to go for more poke onto this Syndra. I got to say, also, if you were expecting this to be a Syndra-dominant lane, like I think many people were, Syndra down in CS. And maybe that was the big chase. Maybe that was, Danny piloting this Yone to a pretty strong ability. But it's been tough as there's the ultimate. Hold on a second.
Yep, Fate Sealed lands. I don't think that Queefy 5 layer is in too much danger. Actually, as I say that, they are corralled into the bot side river. We haven't attempted to gank into that 2v2 in the bot side of the map, but that doesn't go anywhere. And so that's just going to be a 1-for-0 in favor of Elysium Dawn.
Man, Danny has looked very good out of this Yone. I've been very impressed. And, look, I'm just saying good things about everybody. Everyone gets their own little segment where Bonfire says something nice about you. But it's true. I mean, Yone into Syndra, I think a lot of players would say, you know what? It's ranged versus poke. It's a control mage versus, an engage. It's not easy. I do feel like Waffle should be fine. Indeed, is able to just walk it off. The question is, how about this extended fight? But Danny's the first roam.
Yep, Danny moving down is really important, but Queefy 5 layer has the ability to mass stun, and Waffle is now going to whiff on that crash down. Cornstar is here on the pincer, and while the dragon goes in favor of Elysium Dawn, Missy Cat's Black are looking to play cleanup through yet again, but Juicebox has now been picked. Waffle gets the kill off the Ignite burn down. Idris is staying alive, and now they're going to be walled away from the rest of the fight by the Weavers are, and now Furry Little Feet is able to help clean up Cornstar. Waffle setting up beautifully, keeping the aggro on, and now it's not only a dragon, it's 2 kills in favor of Elysium.
Yarko, I was saying it during the fight, and I'll say it again. Red, white, don't fight. This Aphelios did so much damage, went unchecked, and if this is a sign for how things are going to go the rest of this game, you can wrap this game up now, because they're going to have to kill this Aphelios. This is a 7-minute Aphelios that just carried a team fight, and it's only going to get worse from here. So, yeah, very impressive from every single member, keeping the Aphelios alive, keeping everybody safe. They take the fight. At the end of it, they get Dragon. They get themselves a 2,000 gold lead. Elysium Dawn starting to make a name for themselves, and I think they probably are looking to better things, probably towards the finals against potentially the #1 seed. But they have to take care of the opponent first, and they're not glazing over it. They are doing what they need to do and when they need to do it.
A lot of interesting little decisions in this game. I like that calculation by Furry Little Feet to decide, hey, I actually need to press R here to save Idris. That is not a Talia ult application you get to see all that frequently. Notably, we also have a Moby's Rush out of Waffle, so I wonder what Rel is going to be doing with that tool. So far, it looks like they're moving up to try to pincer Queefy 5 layer. Danny is low, but now with the alley-oop back because of the seismic shove, they're just going to be able to hoover up their mid lane partner yet again.
Yeah, when that Yone ultimate dropped, I was a little worried, a little concerned, but my concerns have been quelled. A beautiful play right there. And this
Rel's just running top.
Does not miss. Are they gonna? I don't think they want to dive here on this. Yeah, they just want to get a shove in, and maybe potentially go for a Rift Herald, which is 100% in the cards. Once they got that mid lane kill, they immediately turned toward it. So how often do you get first Dragon and first Rift Herald? Really, really good sign for things to come.
Yep. And now it becomes a calculation as to whether or not Cornstar Juicebox together in the bot side of the map will be able to get back a CS advantage versus a lone Idris, who is going to continue to be alone for the vast majority of the laning phase, so that Waffle gets the most out of their Moby's Rush.
Yeah. I do like the Moby's Rush from Waffle, though. If you're going to roam, you might as well. And this Aphelios will fall behind a little bit, as they have, but I don't feel like it's the end of the world. There's no engage in the bot side, so barring any huge missteps by this Aphelios or maybe a potential Ivern gank, you are feeling pretty comfortable. Illusion, I think, should be okay here.
Yeah, rides the wall, is going to see OPIV on the far side, trying to take their Krugs. They have the Daisy available now. Bot side of the map, Juicebox is just dead. Idris is going to finally get a kill in this game. They are looking stronger. Ivy's in a lot of trouble. Furry Little Feet, though, hovering beautifully with fantastic volley fire over the wall, but it's still not enough. Shentai is incredibly tanky at this point in time, and now with another root caller landing, it looks like this is actually going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of Missy Cat's Black up top side.
Yeah, honestly, Daisy MVP right there. Blocks all that damage. Danny's alone here. There's 2 other members coming. He's going to have to get this kill quick, and indeed he will be able to do so.
And now it's a dive on the bot side. Waffle is going to trade their life back, but Idris getting yet another one is so valuable. And Jinx didn't actually land a kill. That's Juicebox getting the Rel. That's so good for this Aphelios. And now there's a chance that they're going to be able to pick up yet another play with only the Lulu covering them. As top side of the map, things get even wilder. Overall, this is a delayed 3-for-3, but it is one where Elysium Dawn gets the kills onto the right people, and look at the pressure that they're getting out of it.
Danny is a psychopath, just flashing the wall to ult the Ivern. It doesn't land. But, you know, look, I love the gusto, my friend. But yeah, like you said, they across the map are winning out on that, doing a great job of it. Oh, Danny, all right. This guy's kind of crazy as, uh-oh, Maokai might be in some danger.
Yep, Furry Little Feet, though, has not taken tower aggro notably, so that means that the Shelly is still going to crash, and now Shentai is going to have the whole script flipped right back on the top of them. Great WE read there from Furry Little Feet means that OP Ivy can continue to suffocate the Tree Man, and while they will be able to hit Rift Herald down, I don't know if they're going to be able to get out. A sliver of health left on the Maokai as mid lane. Danny is once again setting their sights on Queefy 5-layer, splitting the fight away as Illusion is now being pounced upon by Waffle. Juicebox is here, but the Magnet Storm is going to pull back both Red Squad members as Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide. Danny finally going to be blown up by the combination of Daisy and Queefy 5-layer Burrito. Now, Waffle has to try to walk out of here. They do have another crash down available to regain the Rel shield, and a 3-man stun could be their saving grace. They're going to go back in. They're actually going to kill the Cinder and trade their life back. The tankiness on display, the confidence from Elysium Dawn. That is still a favorable play for Mystic Cats Black, though.
Yeah, they lose a tower topside. I believe Shentai survived that, so looked really dicey, but was able to walk himself out of that one, which is what you love to see. And in the mid lane, yeah, it's an unfavorable trade. They get a shutdown on this Yone. I will say, though, it took them forever to kill that Rel, and that's a tough position to be in. Furry Little Feet.
What was that?
Oh,
Did you see the W?
I really wish they got a kill off of that. That was sick. That was pretty
I don't
cool.
even know how that was possible.
It was mid blast cone, but I guess the game kind of recognizes you as in a certain place, not in the air or anything like that. And uh-oh, Queefy 5-layer.
Might be able to get out because the initial crash down didn't land. Waffle is great at applying AoE CC, but the thing with Rel is that you can only CC a single target for so long. It's like a quarter of a second before you're able to move again after being hit by that Q, and that is enough time for Queefy 5-layer to get back under the tier 1 tower. But losing that summoner spell is pretty crucial, as now you are just going to be fate sealed.
Yeah, I was about to say, Danny has ult, is taking a tower shot, but should be okay. Indeed, he is. Yeah, Danny has ult right there, and not the best Syndra game, I think, is not a crazy thing to say, Narco. I don't want to make them feel worse than they probably already do right now, but, you know, 1 in 5 out of one of your only damage threats, you have less CS than your jungler. It's looking a little tough right now. It's not great, we'll say. And so it really is all on this Jinx, who, don't look now, is 0-2.
Yep, Queefy's on 57 stacks. That's not exactly great splinters-wise, so they're going to be off schedule in terms of their build, income, and splinters, so it's going to be a while before they truly scale up. Now, Elysium Dawn, also with a very commanding gold lead, are going to try to make their presence known as quickly as possible here, but there is significant time for Mystic Cats Black to hopefully get back into this one. The real problem right now is just a matter of being pressured by a possible rushed dragon. We have another one coming out about 3.5 minutes. In that time, I don't think Mystic Cats are going to be able to make up this deficit, but Idris is forced to flash on the bot side of the map, just all alone, isolated, almost blown up.
Yeah, good vision control right there. Gets the flash off of the Aphelios. Doesn't really have a ton of peel as well. We were talking about that in draft. So this Aphelios does have to play with a little bit, you know, safer now because you don't have that flash. And Danny, you saw them in the bot side. Oh, gonna dodge the scatter of the week, and just goes from bad to worse for Queefy 5-layer.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps Danny is just better. They do not care that they saw everybody on the bot side of the map, right? And now Daisy's going to be taken down. There's a possible skirmish to come out of this one with Waffle also rotating into the area, riding in like a bat out of hell with all the speed that the Moby boots give you.
Yeah, OPIV is on vision here, so if they want to try to get a kill onto this Renekton, it isn't impossible. I also got to say, Shentai's been holding their own, and indeed, they're going to roll up for OPIV, but Waffle is just so quick with these boots, and uh-oh. Ooh, Josh Box.
Yep, great Magnet Storm. The thing is, Ivy waiting in isn't actually able to land the kill.
Good
the
flash.
Lulu just uses their ultimate to get to safety, and there's actually great potential comeback from Mystic Cats Black. They have multiple members trying to forge their way into the jungle. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to whittle Ivy even lower. Waffle has gone way too deep. We're gonna die.
Waffle? Okay. Burnt the Waffle right there, my friend. Not ideal, but the question is, how much more can they get on the back end of it? They want a lot more.
Yep, Idris and Furry Little Feet gonna walk this out. Idris actually cleanses early and therefore almost dies to Shentai. Will still be able to kite out Daisy though.
Ooh, that one. Well, hold on a second.
Hold on, never mind the long-range stun. Shentai on the backside of this one. Aphelios goes down with the help of the Eye-Burn, but Ivy is immediately betrayed against the tree man. And now, Douchebox has been isolated by Furry Little Feet. Shentai cut from the rest of the team. Rift Herald still activated. Danny looking for more, as now, with the Twisted Advance, the Maokai almost gets to safety, but just delivers themselves ultimately to the mid laner of Elysium Dawn.
It was messy. It was by no means a perfect fight, and they will look back on that one. They say, how the hell did we do that? But at the end of the day, it is a 4-for-1. They do what they need to do. Danny is 6-2. They get another Rift Herald. They extend their gold lead, and Elysium Dawn continue to stomp down on the backs of Mystic Cats, who at this point are in a really dicey position because they don't really have the gold in the right places. So this gold lead actually feels a lot worse, I'd say. I mean, the mid lane is down 2,000 gold. Bot's okay, I suppose. Really, the only lane that they're feeling pretty confident in is their jungle matchup. But look at the CS differences. And so it is feeling pretty dicey right now. We're going to need to find more skirmishes. Maybe get some picks as well with this Ivern. If they can keep this Jinx alive long enough to get excited, potentially there's something there. But they're slowly getting choked out of this game. And if they give up Soul Point, then I think we do have kind of a bookmark at the end of this game, as we're going to take a quick pause and take a little breather.
I'll be honest, though. The closest gold on the map right now is, well, for relevant players. No offense, Waffle and Juicebox, but you don't have to operate with gold. But Idris is actually only slightly ahead of Cornstar right now. So this Jinx really could become the center point to Mystic Cat's black overall goals in this game. But right now, I just have not seen their ability to rally S5 to actually get this Jinx fed.
Yeah, if we look at the map right now while we're paused, you can kind of see everybody grouping up, getting ready for Dragon. Obviously, it is the Syndra and the Renekton top, but both have teleport. And so it'll be interesting to see. We are going to have our first 5v5 front-to-back team fight. Really, of the series, I feel like it's been a very skirmishy series so far.
Yeah, it's been skirmishy. Messy is another way you could put it. Bonfire. Exciting overall, though, as it looks like we are getting back out onto the Rift.
Yeah, we are back on the Rift, and I think they want to start with a potential fight as everything goes frozen. So we'll never know if this hits or not.
It's the classic, don't you know?
Yeah, we'll
All
never
right,
know.
there we are. Reactivated once again, it looks like. So overall, this is a game where I'm most interested in Mystic Cats just trying to find their wombo combo, trying to find the chain kills onto the Jinx, because the good news with something like Cornstar on this champion is that even if gold concentration is bad for a while, eventually Bonfire, it is going to be easy to funnel gold back into the Jinx because she's just so capable of getting those chain kills. Gentai's in trouble, by the way, on the bot side of the map. You see the crash down in this play in the jungle. This is going to be Waffle trying to approach on top of the Ivern, but it's really the flanking maneuver from Ivy that's opening this back up for Elysium. Now Waffle with the speed boost is trying to get on top of Queefy 5 layer. They're going to be followed by the Talia with the Weaver's Wall, therefore picking up the kill against the Syndra. So far, it's a 2-for-0 in favor of Elysium Dawn, and the Illusion is so damn low. Well, they will be able to get to safety. That is going to be a third dragon over to Elysium, and the map is wide open for them to set up for the Baron Nashor in the next minute, particularly if they pick Cornstar late.
Yeah, Cornstar's dead. Oh,
Danny actually got Ivern there too, so it's almost a delayed ace at this point. Things are just falling apart now, Bonfire.
Oh, Danny boy, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. That's okay, Danny. Okay, Danny.
Danny.
Okay, Danny. I think that this is a Yone ban for the next game, win or lose. Danny on the Yone. Man, that is not bad. 8-2, not bad. Not bad on the Yone. Pretty good right there, Nyarko. Yeah, Danny's had a good game so far, and that was. I wish we had a replay function because I would love to see that one again. How the hell was he all the way over there?
Yep, Yone movement is not something that I like to think about too much. Gives me chills, shudders, and then I get very paranoid about him just ulting through my walls late at night.
True. I keep the nightlight on for a Danny Yone ult. That is I need to be concerned about that. You are not wrong. Yeah, beautiful play right there. So they extend their gold lead. Critically though, Baron has not spawned yet. So although this game might feel like it's been going on for 40 minutes, it is only at the 20-minute mark, and Cornstar
Well, the Baron's now up, and the Jinx is now gone, so that is probably going to be a Baron Nashor to further the whopping 10,000 gold lead that Elysium Dawn already has, Bonfire. This game is FFable.
Yeah, it's a lot like game one. It was Danny again. Wow.
This is worse than game one, honestly.
Yeah, it was a Mystic Cats, good first 5 minutes, and then it was a slope down. We're talking like triple diamond here, and the Mystic Cats are not on their skis; they're on their butt right now, sliding down the slope, down the slalom, not feeling too good about it. They're gonna wake up with a sore butt because this has been not fun for them. They have had a tough series so far. And I think you're right. I mean, it's 12,000 at this point. There's obviously, I don't really think there's FFing at this level, and you never know, really. But I don't think that they're going to be able to do it, and they don't really have a team comp to be able to do it either. So I think that's even the scarier part of it.
Well, I guess we have a little bit of time to just chill, digest, wait for this big push from Elysium Dawn to possibly end the game. So, how's life been, Bonfire? I know, but besides TSM, we really don't get to cast that much together.
I know. It's very sad. It's been good. I've been working, that kind of thing. Sweeping 5 liters been dying again to Danny. Yeah, life's been good. Cannot complain. How's the sumo? I know very little about sumo, but I know you were a big sumo guy. Have they been continuously slamming each other? Is that still happening?
Well, the tournament is starting tonight. It is actually going on right
Ah.
now. I'm going to beg Wookie Monster, our lovely producer, to hopefully get us into a raid for Midnight Sumo. Great channel you guys should check out. For Sumo myself, though, I ripped my big toenail off during practice, and that was very painful, and I've been in recovery for the past week or so.
You do? I did not know you did sumo. That's interesting. Nature's Graph might make this interesting. Waffle. Oh my goodness.
What an incredible Magnet Storm to set up. Shentai barely able to get out with her flash and the Twisted Advance available. Karnstar will not be getting excited in this one. Idris is picking that kill up, and yes, while Waffle is now dead, I don't think it matters. The Baron up minion wave in the mid lane is going to be enough for Elysium Dawn to easily put away this game number 2. And what a demoralizing start to the series at this point, Bonfire. 2-0 Elysium Dawn at match point to make the finals.
Yeah, it's 2-0, and I don't think either of them were very close. The second game was the closest we got, but the gold lead only shrank to 2,000 at its lowest. Really does feel like Elysium Dawn has a pretty good handle on things. Mystic Cats, look, you might have won the first series. You might have put yourself in a good position. But yeah, as any sumo fan will know, it's not about the position you're in, but about actually shoving the bigger opponent away. Is that kind of accurate towards sumo?
I would say that the shove comes partially from masterful positioning, but we can have a talk about that later, as I will be well and happy to do so, especially if Elysium Dawn gets another massive lead in this series. It'll give us a little bit of time to digest, talk about a fantastic sport. But thank you all for being here for a fantastic series so far. We're going to throw it over to a quick break, and we'll be right back with the third draft of the night. Friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Diamond semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. So far, Elysium Dawn Bonfire has been absolutely tearing apart Mystic Cats, and now moving on to game number 3, they are headed towards that match point. They are headed towards a 3-0 sweep and victory to grand finals.
Yeah, they're in a good position now. They can afford to blunder if they need to, but I'd imagine they don't really want to do so. And I'm realizing I left my door open, so uh, pardon me while I close my door. None of you guys don't need to see my bathroom, I think. And now we're all set for game 3.
Yep. We are in the draft phase already. Bands looking pretty similar this time around for a third game running. No alterations. Mystic Cats has got to deal, though, with something that Elysium Dawn has been doing so far. Be it the Talia, be it that Yone from the last game that Danny absolutely popped off on. There's got to be some kind of alteration, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that you cannot continue to slam home the same picks and bans that you've done. Indeed, they do. They ban out the Talia, and so Elysium Dawn now are in an interesting situation where it's, well, what do we first pick now? The thing is, hold on, let me check real quick what that ban was before, because I'm curious what is now open for them. So that was the Briar ban prior, and so do they go towards the Briar? I don't feel like Briar's that good, so yeah, they're just going to go towards the Maokai.
Yep. Liking the Maokai selection here. I think that Furry Little Feet has had their time in the sun, being one of the main carries for the squad. Now it's time to set up, put Danny even further ahead. I'd love to see Ivy also go to something that is also very carryable, but is a little bit less oriented to the super early
Whoa,
game.
Hecarim. Not a lot of Hecarims you see nowadays,
Nope,
so
not at all.
yeah, I mean, a very strong ganking jungler and good for skirmishing as well. Very strong for skirmishing with the healing you get, the AoE damage, great ultimate. So Hecarim's an interesting one. I think whenever you pick a very strong ultimate this early on, you do have to be concerned about the Silas, but we are not even close to thinking about mid laners right now. It's just something to keep an eye on.
Yep. We're diving into a Kaisa takeaway from Idris. We saw them use that in game number 1. Now it's going to be Cornstar on that champion. This is good. I like the fact that Mystic Cats are still trying to play aggressive, trying to find their carries with big angles. But Elysium Dawn going to go over to the brand. Slayer in the chat?
No, there's no brand. We're just messing. Right, Elysium Dawn? Right, Elysium Dawn?
I believe if they lock this. I think this is actually decent.
Right, Elise?
They're going to do it.
Goodness.
They're going to do it.
All right. I haven't casted a brand ever, I don't think. Maybe once. You rarely see a brand. It is a very strong laner, obviously, with the poke that it brings. Why are you? And it's being paired with a Xayah? What the hell is going on? I don't know what's going on. I've lost my mind.
I thought this. I still think this might actually be a lane brand.
Solo
I thought it was
lane
going to be brand
brand?
bot, but now I can see this as brand mid.
Yeah, I think that you can't go Xayah brand. That is anti-synergy. I think that they do not work well together. So brand mid could be a potential way to go. I actually really like a Blitzcrank pick here. Brand Xayah, not a lot of mobility. You get the first pick off. That's great. So I do like the Blitzcrank here. Now, what's the response for Elysium? I mean, both of these drafts, very, very different than what we've seen this series.
All right. The Blitzcrank, I think, is also just kind of a misstep here, Bonfire. Fact of the matter is, this is probably not going to be a brand support. I really hope it isn't, as you were talking about. It is anti-synergy. So now, without an immobile support, most likely in the cards, Mystic Cats Black could be misstepping here because Xayah is going to be able to respond to that Blitzcrank post level 6 with her ultimate to set up big plays and just continue to zone away a champion that is so reliant on landing those hooks to set things up for your team.
Yeah, I mean, if you're forcing Xayah ultimate off every time Blitzcrank hooks, pretty happy about that. It's a good trade for you. So I don't hate the Blitzcrank. I think you're right, though. If this brand isn't in the bot lane and it's a Nautilus or something like that, it's not nearly as good. But I think that it allows you to get your combo off on Kaisa a little bit more often. And so I don't hate it. I think that it could be good. It could be bad. I like the band so far as well. Oriana, keeping with that, a very strong mid laner. The Vladimir might be the first time we've seen that banned out. A good AP scaling mid laner. I don't think I feel like Mystic Cats doesn't know where this brand is going either.
Yep, and that's what I'm really worried about. This feels like a huge pivot for Elysium Dawn that may still pay off as a gamble. Now, we do see that Ornn Denial, Mystic Cats Black have found their offensive firepower with the Hecarim and Kaisa, so I like the fact that they're taking away initiators from that top side of the map. Shentai has shown that they're most willing to be able to play those kinds of champions, and you look at their name as well. Well, don't look too hard at it because it
Yeah,
is
don't
terrible.
look at the name.
But,
Don't look at the name.
the capital Shen in the middle of it kind of speaks to the fact they're really looking to set up the rest of their team.
Yeah, the Shen would not be terrible here. Cassante is a lot better though. I was about to say I like the Cassante. So they do go tanky. Cassante, one of the strongest tanks in the game right now, and I say tanks because it's Cassante. So it's not a bad pick, especially good to blind. Now, what's the response? It is looking like it is a brand mid. Rakan Zaya. Finally, we're seeing the Rakan Zaya. I'm very surprised we went this entire series without seeing it yet. One of the strongest bot lane pairings. I just think they're very, very strong together. Pair that with the Maokai ult, and you throw a brand ult on top of it all. Looking pretty good right now. Looking pretty strong for Elysium Dawn.
All right. Well, the Cassante is definitely super powerful, but we have confirmation that this. Oh, it's a Brungle. Holy
Is it a
crap! On
Brungle?
fire. We have been
God, it
completely
is a
juked. My
Brungle.
ankles are broken.
A Brungle. I was not expecting the Brungle. Well, so is it a Maokai top then? And the Brungle?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. This is. I'm as surprised as you are, my friend. I thought it was a Jace top, but I actually don't know where anything's going.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, they were hovering a bunch of stuff that I would not be sending into the top lane if I were Danny, but who's to say, right? Jace gonna be ultimately grabbed here. I don't know. I'm back to Brand mid, I guess, with the Jace top and the Maokai jungle. Regardless, I'd be shocked if Ivy has to play something like the Maokai. I think that they have really shown themselves to be a carry throughout the series. Why put them onto something that is only an initiator, right?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a detriment, but we're also look. I feel like everybody on their team could be, good carry potential. So there's no need to, kind of kneecap anybody. Um, this is an interesting Silas lock-in. I feel like Silas against Maokai is great. Other than that, I don't know if there's many fantastic ults to steal. I mean, Rakan ult, I guess it's hard to like run through that many people without the speed up. Zaya ult to stay a little bit alive, maybe. I mean, it's just kind of a de facto stopwatch. Brand ult's okay, and Jace doesn't have an ult, so yeah. I mean, not a terrible Silas lock-in, but it's not. Usually, you see Silas when there's like an Alistar or a Vi or Maokai or Blitzcrank. But there's really only the one ultimate that I think is like S tier to steal.
Yep, that's definitely true. I'm not a big fan of the Silas here at the very end of the draft. I could see that there is Nature's Grasp that could really set up beautifully for a Cassante and a Hecarim running on in, but that's
Gonna
hoping
get
that the
poked.
Maokai is going to be there, stealable prior to plays, stuff like that. It's a tough one.
Yeah, and you're gonna get poked as well on this Silas. I mean, look at this composition Elysium Dawn has drafted. They've got a Brand, a Zaya, but especially a Jace Maokai. So, if you're ever walking into the pit with more than 50% of your health, I think you should thank your lucky stars because this Elysium Dawn squad wants to just consistently poke you out of objectives. And this Silas is going to struggle with that, along with really everybody else from Mystic Cats. It feels like they really need to slam these fights with the Hecarim before they get poked out of them.
Well, furry little feats on the Brand. It is in fact a Brungle with the Maokai on the top
Brungle.
side.
Wow. I almost don't know what to say. So remember how I said I think I've only casted one Brand before? I've never casted a Brungle. In fact, I don't think I've ever played with the Brand jungle before.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, it used to be playable. It's just not very good at ganking. And so you really are looking for setup from the rest of your team. I guess you do have CC from the Maokai as well as the Rakan, so we have stuff to go for in the top and bot, but it's going to be tough for Furry Little Feet to do much outside of team fights. That being said, so far they have outstripped and outpaced Mystic Cat's Black's jungle every single game in regards to their CS, and so they are going to be a walking bomb when it comes to going for those 5v5s.
Yeah, and it's not too dissimilar from the Talia either. I mean, obviously, they are different champions. You can break down how different they are. But if you really take it down to its bare core essentials, it is a poke AP champion with not a lot of health that does have CC if you're able to land a couple of things in a row, and will scale up well. Great for team fighting. Like, they're adjacent. They have similar, ways that you want to play them. So I think it's also the idea of comfort, right? I played 2 Talia games. I don't want to go towards, something that's way out of my zone. Just lock me Brungle, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for this.
Yep, same. I'm very excited to be getting into what could be the final game of the series. Elysium Dawn so far have been absolutely smacking Mystic Cats up and down the board. Now, Mystic Cats have to dig their heels in to try to bring us deeper on into the series, because if they can't get the win now, they are going to be out of the BOL Diamond Division.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one, especially because I'm glad you mentioned it. Mystic Cats, this is potentially their last game, right? You play an entire season in the BOL Diamond League. You make playoffs, you get an upset in the first round. I feel like you really want to be here. This is not a throwaway game. This is not all right. Well, we're happy with how far we've come. I do believe Mystic Cats, want to be in this position, and they feel like they deserve to be in this position. And so I want to see some more fight out of them. I want to see some closer games, and I want to see them potentially, inch this series back. But it does start with this game, and it has to be in this game.
All right, well, let's see if they're going to be able to do it as we enter on into the spectator delay bonfire. We're going to throw it over to a quick break, and we will be back onto the Rift for the third game of this series. Elysium Dawn, Missy Cat's Black. We'll see you guys on the other side. welcome back to the Blue Otter League Diamond semifinal matchup between Elysium Dawn and Mystic Cats Black. For a second game running, Mystic Cats Black have the capacity to go for an invade, and it sure looks like they're going to try to set up for it. Shentai pushing down the mid lane while the rest of Red Squad are going to make their way into Pixel Bush. They're looking for a pick. They are looking for an early kill. Douchebag's going to try to find it. Flashes forward.
No.
Great dodge from Waffle means that right now they are down a summoner spell. Queefy 5-layer is going to drop a ward right on top of Idris's head, but that doesn't matter. That ward doesn't do damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I'm sure, yeah, you would love to get that, initial hook, but you're trying to get it onto a Rakan who basically has a flash built into the kit. Now Illusion and Shentai are going pretty deep here. I think they should be okay. I don't think there's enough damage to be taken down, especially with Queefy 5-layer showing up, but things just kind of not looking great. I will say, here comes the Blitzcrank.
They are going to land the hook onto Furry Little Feet, who has to flash back to safety, but now Illusion has been taken low. Ignited, going to be killed by the Maokai.
Oh, no.
And while Waffle is going to fall, look at the free fire from Idris and company. This is turning into a disaster for Mystic Cats Black. They're only going to be able to pick up one for the price of 3, and now Danny is unleashed upon the map.
My God, Danny has a shutdown with 0 CS. Oh, it's a disaster. It is a horror. Oh man, that is rough. Oh jeez. Okay, so so I will say, Furry Little Feet, can the Brungle solo a camp on low health after taking an engage? This is the real.
This Smite.
I mean, yes, but then what about the rest of the? All right, should be okay at this point. It looked a little dicey there. Yeah, you thought this Jace was going to be hard to deal with. How about now? It does feel like it's kind of on Queefy 5-layer to have to deal with it early on. And, right before they get items and such. But, man, a tough start.
Yep, definitely the case. Mystic Cats Black did not really expect for that play to go so haywire, so in favor of Elysium Dawn. They're up 1,000 gold at 2 minutes into this one.
Yep, I like this purchase as well from Danny. You could just slam an item and or some components of an item and say, yeah, I'm just going to do 1,000,000 damage. Going for the pots. You're going to win those extended trades. Obviously there is healing on the Silas built into the kit, but as a whole, I think that you're just going to poke them out. You're ranged into melee. You've got the shock blast. When you bring the hammer down, it does 1,000,000 damage. I like building actually a little defensively early on with the money that you made, and ensuring that you can kind of choke the life out of the Silas rather than going for an aggressive play and potentially getting choked out yourself. And you're starting to see it right there. The only thing I will say one thing, and then I will shut up about it. No tier? Really? I'm kind of surprised. I would expect to buy a tier, just slam a tier initially.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that a tier would be best here, but Danny is confident they're going to be able to stack that a little bit later into this one. Illusion is going for some kind of invade here, but Brandon's already kind of cleared everything up, and there's not really much place for this Hecarim to go prior to just waiting for those Scuttle Crabs to spawn. So Fox over the wall on the bot side might be able to set something up, but for the time being, the horse is just going to busy themselves with taking that neutral objective.
Yeah, it is going to be, I believe, a trade of the Scuttles, as you do see Furry Little Feet going for the top side Scuttles. Would be a trade of those. And across the map, there was silence. I think everybody was agreed that it was too crazy early on. They needed a little bit of a break. And I got to say, though, again, Danny got a little bit of a lead. Now, down in CS, not really pushing that advantage. I think it's tough into a Silas. This is a really good counter pick into that Jace, just because Danny just hasn't felt as comfortable as he had in previous games.
Yeah, I'm happy that Queefy has not backed down from the challenge in that mid lane. They're doing a good job trying to reassert some amount of dominance, and there's also a possible setup for a kill on the bot side of the map. Idris gonna have to flash away, but a great Blade Caller does mean that Cornstar cannot continue to give chase, and Illusion does try to angle towards the dive under the tower. There's not really much there for them.
Yep, they get flash out of the Xayah, so there's always a regank opportunity if they feel like it, and it's still a positive trade. Well played in the bot side, so it does feel like Mystic Cats has slowed this pace down enough where they feel comfortable and they no longer feel like they're in a tough position. OP Ivy's going to dodge out on that damage. Then there was some peace across the map. Everyone can take a little bit of a breath, take a breather as we get towards the early game. But both
that's
teams,
good to hear, Bonfire.
I know. Look, after that first initial engage, I was thinking, is this going to be the whole game like this? I don't know if I can cast this whole thing. So I'm glad we have some peace.
What do you mean? You're the color caster. It's me mostly casting all of this if it was
true.
just fight after fight.
I care about you, I need to make sure your voice is okay.
Oh, I appreciate it, but this could just be the last game with that lead Elysium Dawn have gotten for themselves. Shentai might also be picked here. Illusion gonna come in, has the Ghost activated, but already this feels more like a 2v1 than anything else. Shentai's trying to find an angle, but at 200 health, trying to face down a Brand is so scary, and a great stun onto Illusion means the horse is gonna be the first to fall. Danny rotates from the mid lane, and things continue to pile on in favor of Elysium Dawn.
Yeah, it's a horror. It's a horror. It looked good at first, but this Hecarim just doesn't have enough damage. And like you said, if you're not able to pop the Brand is going to pop you, my friend. It's exactly what happens. That is a tough, tough, tough one. The only bright side, I guess, is that the Brand didn't get the kills, and it did go over to the Maokai, but not the position you want to be in, especially because this Maokai looks to be building some AP, so those kills are still going to be doing damage towards you. And this pushing lane that you expect with the with the Blitzcrank isn't really pushing, isn't really winning that heavily. It is going from bad to worse for Mystic Cats.
Yep, Mystic Cats Black at this point have to try to overcome about a 2,000 gold deficit. Queefy 5-layer could be the angle because they are doing a good job responding to Danny, but still, I'm actually not really seeing much in the way of kill potential, even in plays like that. Yeah, Queefy 5-layer is able to take the Jace low, but Flash is still held by this champion. They have great spacing, and they have the ability to farm under tower quite nicely with the range.
Yeah, and Queefy 5-layer is level 6. That's great. You can't steal J-Salt, so you're gonna have to steal it from somebody else. Oh, good hawk.
Yeah, the problem is now that everybody knows where Douchebox is. Waffle is covering this beautifully, chasing off Queefy 5-layer with the Ignite. And while the Blitzcrank is going to be able to walk this out, it's still not a kill onto Danny.
Yeah,
in fact,
but
Douchebox might be dead.
I think Juicebox should be okay with Illusion here. Now this is getting weird. There's the ultimate. I just don't think.
Oh my god, Illusion's so low. Is it actually the horse that's going to die in this one is the question. Great
my
stun,
goodness.
Waffle going to clean it up.
Yeah, this Brand does a lot of damage, actually, surprisingly. So, very, very bad, especially because look at the Brand's items. I just want you to take a gander towards Furry Little Feet's items. He doesn't have any items. That was a no-item Brand that did all of that damage. It's only going to get worse, and they get full boots. Oh, boy.
Yeah, it feels like Missy Cat's Black Goose is cooked at this point, Bonfire, and at this point, 7 minutes into the game, with things being this one-sided, I really don't see any chance for them to be able to bring this series into the fold. Elysium Dawn has proven themselves capable time and time again of cementing and then after that playing out a gold lead in a textbook fashion. They already know that they have their win conditions on the line. Danny's doing a good job sustaining. OP Ivy on the top side of the map is going to be nigh unkillable as long as this Cat's Black or Star for gold. And bot side of the map, Idris is eventually going to be unleashed. It could be here and now as Cornstar already has to use that cleanse to get back away from the Xayah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not over till it's over, but it is not looking great. And oh, stop me if you've seen this one before.
Yeah, I don't think that the all-out matters, though, and that's not really something you see all that frequently, right? When the Cassante can't 2v1 torque on the enemy team, Furry Little Feet just does so much damage. Now, it's 3 bounties on Elysium Dawn's side, and this game is getting out of hand.
Yeah, it started okay. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Mystic Cats had a decent early game, even with falling behind. You know, we were talking about, like, hey, they're doing okay. With the CSing, we felt like, you know, it wasn't so bad. But once the game hits 5 minutes, I don't know, man. Elysium Dawn just enters into another gear. If you're looking to play Elysium Dawn in the future, if they do end up winning this series, which is looking likely, you're going to have to find a way to abuse their early game because their mid and late is pretty exceptional.
This is an attempted gank into the bot side, though. Illusion has a really good angle against the team. Waffle is going to activate the quickness to try to isolate Cornstar, but now that just leaves Idris in a 2v1, and the Featherstorm is not going to save them. Now they can turn their attention right back onto the Rakan, and even Cornstar walks out of that one alive.
That's great. There you go. You get a pick right there. So actually you get 2. So that's fantastic. They get the kills. Not onto the best members, but I don't think you're ever going to be too mad about the Hecarim getting a kill. The Kai'Sa doesn't get a kill, though. And Cornstar has been starved this entire series. Felt like the best game that they had was on that on the Ezreal. Did have a decent Jinx game as well, just hasn't really been able to do AD carry things. Has really been in such a deficit at all points in time that hasn't really been able to get so hyper skilled up. I like Danny shoving a wave in, making it even harder for Cornstar to get into a good position. I mean, it's great that you get the picks, but not getting the gold onto your AD carry and not really doing anything with those picks means that it's just flat gold on a support and on your jungler.
Well, that has closed things slightly. 2,500 though, still in favor of Elysium Dawn right now. It means that, especially if Brand is there, any team fight for Blue Squad will probably be winning. So Mr. Cat Black have to continue to try to play off of Illusion, getting good stuff set up on this Hecarim. They've proven now that they're able to get those ganks, but unfortunately, they have to wait also for Onslaught of Shadows to really be that last nail in the coffin for Elysium Dawn.
Yeah, Danny's gonna see this Blitzcrank. The question is, he doesn't have Flash. Can he get away?
I don't think so. That's great play there from the Blitzcrank, using those Moby Boots in a very similar way to Waffle in game number 2.
No, they're
Now,
gonna lose
Cornstar
everything.
is left alone on the bot side of the map, and this is a little bit concerning, especially if they cannot try to kill back on the Waffle. It just goes golden under the tower to drop that aggro. They might be in trouble as Illusion is on top of them, but they don't have ult available. Waffle just going to be able to flash to safety. Juicebox is trying to turn things around. Queefy 5-layer Burrito also going to be down here, and that means a teleport is going to be called out from Furry Little Feet coming on in alongside Danny. Queefy 5-layer now going to be isolated without the Hecarim there. The Silas is just going to fall. A double kill off the massive damage from the Brand. Now, Furry Little Feet is at 5-0-5.
So what I'm seeing is that I need to get Brungle in my champion pool because this Brand is doing so much work every time. They just are not focusing the Brand, and I mean, how could you? There's so many members that you need to be concerned about. They try to get the kill initially onto the Rakan, it doesn't work. They do finally end up killing him, and then they try to kill the Xayah, it doesn't work, and then they do finally end up killing him. But that entire time, this Brand is just free hitting. This is a 5-0-5 Brand with Leandres, has a book, is able to get, I mean, it's just a rough buy. And then if you look at the other side of things, there's not even an item on this Hecarim. So things are looking dire, looking dicey. If Mystic Cats want to continue into the BOL, they need to find a way to win this, and it is not going to be easy.
Also, this is the least effective all-out I've seen in a while, Bonfire. You know, we've been watching a ton of these amateur to, like, low-pro level combines where we're seeing such high priority on the Cassante, and most of the time, when they go into all-out mode, they're getting a kill. This time around, Shentai is actually going to lose the 1v1 versus Ivy on the Maokai, even with the all-out activated. And now, this opens up Waffle to go for a flanking play against the rest of Mystic Cats Black as they try to find a way into the river. The quickness is going to charm up so many members. Queefy 5-layer tries to go for the dive, but they find absolutely nothing as Illusion is wiped off the face of the map. And now, while Furry Little Feet is sent on the run by Cornstar, they have already done their work, and now there's a full-on conga line of Blue Squad trying to make their way on top of this Kaisa, who has no ultimate available. Danny ultimately going to be the one to pick up the kill.
Yeah, that is a horror right there. And that might just be the final nail in the coffin right there, Nyarko. You know, I never like calling games before they're over, but it's hard not to see the writing on the wall here. Your Cassante is 0-4. Your AD carry is 0-2. Your jungler has died 5 times. You've given over 14 kills. The first turret, a Rift Herald, a Dragon. It just feels like this game is pretty insurmountable. I mean, maybe a really great Blitzcrank hook onto a Brand before a fight starts into a Dragon Steal, but I mean, we're talking crazy circumstances in order to just get one objective. You got to give credit over to Elysium Dawn, but it has not been the series that I think Mystic Cats wanted.
Not at all. And we finally have found ourselves another lull state 6 minutes before the next Baron Nash, or before the Baron Nash responds at all, excuse me. We have a minute before Rift Herald, but I swear, Mystic Cats Black, if you want any chance of winning this game, do not contest anything unless you find a pick on the map first. You have the capacity to do so off the Blitzcrank. Perhaps it's actually to come in the top side right now, but Ivy is covered by Waffle now. Danny in the bot, just trying to kill Queefy 5-layer, will be able to pick that up as Juicebox is isolated and taken down by the Maokai. This was a man advantage fight for Red Team, and it's just going belly up. Illusion is still getting burned down by the Leandres. Waffle is going to give chase, and now Cornstar is all the way alone in Narnia.
Yeah, this was like one of those moments where you're like, you know, you're keeping an eye on the baby or babysitting. You look away for half a second. You're like, oh, we should order pizza tonight. And then you're like, the baby's like head first deep in a toilet. You know, what happened? I was just looking at you. It looked so good in the top side. Ivy had no mana. There's a potential pick. Things were looking decent. The baby's head is in the toilet, Yarko. The baby's head is deep in the toilet, and the family that you are babysitting for is not going to be happy about you. And you're not getting that $40, and you're probably not going to get this job. So, not great. Not great at all. Mystic Cats down 7,000 gold at 15 minutes. Oh boy, 7-0 Brand, 4-0 Maokai, 4-1 Jace. It's over.
All right. Well, we get to play my favorite mini game when we look at the team comps, though. Bonfire.
What's that?
So, out of the champions on the board here, which team has the best blunt rotation?
I don't know. I feel like. Oh man, hold on. There's a fight going on. We got to talk
Waffle's
about
gonna
this later.
die.
Yeah,
That is something.
Waffle got smoked, so maybe Waffle.
This is one of those games where it's like Idris isn't actually super far ahead. They are not the main carry, and yet they still managed to kill Cornstar, actually. So, yeah, anyway, blunt rotation.
Yeah, this all out probably shouldn't do anything. I gotta say, you gotta imagine Brand's pretty good because he can just light it himself. You know, put it on his body.
I feel at the same time, though, Brand, it would be absolutely miserable to try to get high with. He is just eternally grumpy. Now, at the same time, so is Hecarim, and I don't think Blitzcrank can actually even smoke. So that is something to
Made negative. Rakan seems cool. Rakan and Xayah seem pretty cool.
I agree with that. Yeah.
And I think Jace, you know, as much of a square as he is, you know, maybe we could get him cool if you know he hit it. This is not, by the way, we do not endorse you know, any of this. If you're, you know, watching and you're an eager viewer, but you know,
It depends on what state you're in.
This is true, and how old you are.
Oh god. Okay, well, Illusion is gonna find an angle onto the Brand, and
Oh.
finally Furry Little Feet is pulled over the wall.
Oh, no.
But Waffle just covers it all, and this Brand stays alive. And look at the damage, man! Holy shit!
Yeah, that's definitely a holy shit moment. Oh, okay.
Oh, this game's
Wrap it up.
actually just a
Wrap it up.
tragedy. It's a comedy of
Oh, my
errors.
Goodness, wrap it up. It's
Oh.
cooked.
It
This
is cooked.
oh my
It
God,
is
it's-
burnt. It is well done. It
I
is
know.
beyond. It is beyond saving.
Well, it's
Elysium
so-
Dawn have well and truly beaten the horse dead, and they are continuing to just smack the body over and over again. They're
it's-
just gonna ride a Rift Herald onto this mid inhibitor, setting themselves up beautifully for a Baron. I mean, what else can you do?
Don't get another charge. No.
No,
Oh my
no.
goodness, they got another charge.
Yeah,
okay.
Juicebox is gonna get a hook. It's gonna be onto the wrong person though. I
okay.
think Waffle's perfectly happy to go for another engage. As
God,
Furry
this
Little Feet's got
Brand.
their ult back up, and they pick up a double kill without even resetting. Danny's on a flank angle. Shen is unable to find anything, and while Idris is gonna be able to clean up the Cassante, finally the Brand will be taken down. The problem is Cornstar has to sacrifice any amount of positional advantage to do so. They will be run down and beaten to a pulp by the Jace for an ace.
I know, it's such a tough position as well because Mystic Cats, we've built up this whole storyline about how they are the underdogs of the playoffs. They've worked so hard to be in this position. But League of Legends, you know, it's a game of where are you on the day? You know, how are you going to play on the day? We've seen world champions absolutely eat their face off in, you know, best of threes and best of fives. And we've seen some of the worst players I've ever seen in pro play have incredible performances. And on the day, Mystic Cats just not really having it. Elysium Dawn just truly outclassing them, and they are winning in more ways than one. They're potentially on a 3-0. They win the blunt rotation game that we played. I just feel like this. What can't this team do?
Yeah, it's a real question mark because I think Elysium Dawn, with a performance like this, are setting themselves up very nicely for a grand finals performance for the Ages Bonfire. And right now, they are on the cusp of getting there. It's just a matter of one more fight, one more neutral objective, and they are going to be well on their way to getting that blank check, to making that statement. It's the Cats Black no longer have any ammunition with which to contest this composition. It's a matter of sitting there and praying for a miracle.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think you know that. I think I know that. I like how they're building defensively as well. You know, you have that Zanya's on the Brand, so if you want to kill this 10-in-1 Brand, you're gonna have to get through him twice, basically. I don't know. It's gonna be hard. There's just so many defensive tools as well as offensive tools. It's not like they all just pop if you get a good Blitzcrank hook. You're really gonna have to find an extended team fight win, which when you're this far behind, it just seems dubious at best.
Yeah, and it feels like Juicebox cannot actually stand in a position where they can find a hook because they're constantly repelled by the poke damage from Danny. Look at what Shentai is kind of encountering when they try to go for literally anything. Furry Little Feet just detonates their bomb, blows them up, and now if they have that Zanya's like you're talking about, Idris will just be able to cover them with their ultimate, and while finally the Brand is going to fall, it is at the cost of the entirety of Misty Cat's Black. A 1-4-5 ace And Elysium Dawn, while they can't get the Baron Nashor, they
Oh, they can end the
can
game.
probably end the game. Teleports into the mid lane, looking to knock down these towers.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't look at the base. If you are a fan of Vistacats, don't look at the base. They get the final team fight win. Congratulations to Elysium Dawn. You left nothing up to the imagination right there. I think you showed just about everybody who was watching and everybody in the BOL Diamond League. You guys don't not only deserve to be here, but that you guys are maybe the best team in this league. I don't know. That's why we have a grand finals, right? We'll have to see next week.
Yep. Fantastic performance for sure from Elysium Dawn. And if you're a Mystic Cats Black fan, what I would recommend here is that you do not remember this series,
Wait a
but you remember
second.
all the great moments that came from before it.
Wait a second. Guys, end the game. Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, lordy, it's not over. Well, that's something.
Yeah.
I literally alt-tabbed because the client popped up with the result. Spoiler alert,
spoiler.
guys. This is still Jover, but I guess we got a few more minutes of playtime.
Oh my goodness. They just kind of they're having fun with it, I suppose. But they didn't end the game. Who knows? You know what? Maybe this is how they come back. And this is, I mean, they are only down 7,500 gold. It's been worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. You know. We both know. We have to pretend like we don't know.
All right. Well, Bonfire.
Yes,
I'm going to be denied a few more sumo matches, so, I'm a little bit sad here, but...
this is true. I kind of wish they would end there too, but it's okay.
What can Mystic Cats Black do in this situation?
Man, I don't know, Nyarko. They get a good pick with the Blitzcrank Cook. It's potential. They've got the good Death Brush going on here. They get Waffle. Here we go.
How's Waffle just not taking damage?
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that is...
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh,
that was
lordy.
That
Okay.
was fun. I liked that. That was enjoyable.
Waffle just did not take damage at all.
Yeah, Danny does a million damage, by the way.
yeah. It's not just the brand anymore. It's the whole team.
All right, guys. Now let's say it with me now. End the game.
End the game. I got sumo to watch. Oh my god.
They've got places to be.
Holy cow. One more kill for the road. Oh, they're gonna chase the Kasate instead of hitting the Nexus.
They're not. They're gonna hit the Nexus.
All right. GG's, everybody. That was a time for sure.
Yeah, they get the win. They put themselves into a good position. Guys, hit the Nexus. Guys, hit the Nexus, please. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So they win the game. They win the series. They move themselves to a good position into the grand finals now. Congratulations to Elysium Dawn, because really at no point in that series, I mean, I guess other than the first game halfway through was it close. They really just destroyed them, if we're being honest.
Yep. It's not really a series to say much about at this point. I wish that I could say that Elysium Dawn have exposed any of their weaknesses in this best of 5 for scouting purposes, but nah, sorry whoever they're up against in finals. You're gonna have to look deeper on into a lot of these games in order to find anything to get a hold of. The fact that Danny has rotated through the champion pool, the fact that Furry Little Feet was taken off the Talia and just went to Brungle and just burned through the enemy squad, it's kind of concerning, like what do you do in the draft to stop this team is the first question. Then what do you actually do when you're on the Rift against them?
Yeah, I guess that's on the other teams to figure out, because me personally, if you're asking me to play against this team right now, I am respectfully calling a sick day. They look so darn good, and they look dominant at this point. So it'll be interesting to see who they have to go against. We're gonna have to figure that out next week, because right now we're all gonna go, and they're gonna go home. They're gonna enjoy their Saturday, and then in 1 week we're gonna have the grand finals. I'm very excited.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in for this matchup. We're going to be back at you as Bonfire is talking about next week for grand finals here in the BOL Diamond Division. But we got broadcasts going on all week for all of our other divisions. Some of them have wrapped up at this point, but you want to drop a follow, keep an eye out, because there's so much going on. And BOL is easily going to be gearing up for the next season after this one is done. So if you want your chance of competing as well, make sure to keep an eye on the Discord and everywhere else. Shout out to Wookie Monster, our lovely producer for the night. Shout out to you, Bonfire, for being here.
Yeah, it's always a good time. I'm glad I'm able to fill in.
All right. Well, with all that in mind, it's about time that we throw it over to an end. Check out our sponsors, Coachify GG and Glitch Energy. But that is it from us, everybody. Have a good one.